won't have much time to settle in. A trip to New Hampshire has the Rams scoring up with the reigning Ivy League champs, Dartmouth College. Boasting a top-notch defense and run-heavy attack, the Big Green are looking to pick up right where they left off. And they get to do so in front of a home crowd for their 2024 season opener. With conference play creeping closer every week, the Rams need to get back on track. It's a Week 4 matchup in the Ivy League. Fordham versus Dartmouth, live on WFUV Sports. From Memorial Field in Hanover, New Hampshire, it's time for Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV. This afternoon, the 0-3 Fordham Rams visiting the reigning Ivy League champs, Dartmouth College. Hello, everybody. Lou Orlando, joined by former Fordham wide receiver Evan Harkin. Evan, the Rams' woes continued last weekend, a loss on homecoming to Stony Brook, but the biggest loss had nothing to do with the final score.
Right, the biggest loss was CJ Montes, starting quarterback for the Rams, going down. He's listed now at week to week. He won't be starting this game. It'll be Jack Capaldi, who played at the end of that game, filling in for him. And like you said, Lou, that's a big loss for this team. They're going to have to rely a little bit more on that rushing attack, which has been playing well all season long. They have 120 rushing yards per game right now, but that offensive line up front is really going to have to work hard to protect Capaldi and allow him to run this offense.
Evan and I will get you all set up for this Fordham versus Dartmouth Week 4 game. Before we do, we caught up with Fordham football head coach Joe Conlin.
Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin, with head coach Joe Conlin, coach the defense against Stony Brook. The 2 pick sixes, getting your first 3 sacks of the season, a lot of clutch stops to get you the ball back and a chance to win the game. What did you see from them in their effort?
Yeah, I mean, I thought their effort was great. They really stood up well to the run game. You know, I think we gave up 104 on the day, which is pretty good. It was a good back. You know, I think, you know, they would say, and I agree, like we have to do a little bit better job against the pass. But a lot of those, I mean, those kids were making pretty good catches on balls, thrown in tough spots. You know, I think from the most part, they played really well, and that's what we talked about on Sunday. You know, they played well, they played hard. We got to the quarterback, you know, especially with our ends. We need a little more out of the middle part of our rush. But, you know, they back-to-back games, they played well, and you know, I think they're starting to develop an identity, so hopefully they keep it going.
You guys ran the ball well, especially in that first half. What did you see out of the O-line up front and those 2 backs in the backfield in the rushing attack?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we think Juice and Ricky are both, you know, spectacular. I think the O-line did very well at times, especially in the run game, and then, you know, at other times when they got kind of unconventional looks, you know, we have to execute better. We have to be a little more consistent, I think, on the ground, you know, instead of the 30-yard run followed by a -1. You know, we need more 3s and 4s and 5s, and just kind of continue to gain positive yardage. But yeah, I mean, they certainly take pride in it, and you saw definite improvement from week 1 to certainly week 2 to 3. So they're going to keep it going. We found, you know, I think a rotational piece at O-tackle, and those guys should be all right.
2 players on the defensive end that I want to spotlight and get your takes on. The first one is Mike Courtney, who I think you've come in a couple weeks and said he's playing the best football of his life. And then he goes and career-high 12 tackles, felt like he was all over the football field. Is that the best game you've ever seen from him, and just your thoughts on how he's come out to start the year?
Yeah, I mean, Mike is everything you'd want in a football player and a leader. You know, really understands that position well. You know, he's been playing it now for 2 years. Is really just, you know, it just matters so much to him. So, not surprising to see him play that way. You know, he's an emotional kid, and kind of the spark plug on that defense, especially with Jimmy out. So, yeah, I mean, Mike's been doing a great job for us, and we'll look forward to continue.
The other is Jaworski, who 5 pressures against CCSU, 6 against Stony Brook, so he's got 12. No one else in the Patriot League has more than 4. I know he doesn't have a sack, but it feels like he's getting pressure consistently. Is he playing some of the best ball you've seen from him?
I think the last 2 weeks he's been fantastic on every down. And he's been so close, and I know he's getting frustrated because he's getting all these pressures and not getting any sacks, but he's been so close. And our defensive staff did a good job of kind of trying to scheme some stuff up for him and John. So, yeah, I mean, Jaws is a guy that, every team period I look over and he's got a big smile on his face, and he just loves the game and loves playing, and all the work he's done in the off seasons and all that stuff is paying off.
KJ seemed to be a standout, a bit of an eye-opening performance from him. What did you make of his day last week?
Yeah, I mean, KJ's a guy who's got a lot of talent, fast, he's got good length, he's strong, has really been practicing well going back to the start of camp. So, he's another guy. We brought him in last year. He showed a lot of talent and he really grew up in the program, and has learned a lot from Mekhi Felton. And so, we go out and his practice habits are incredible. And he and Ricky and Noden, I'm just kind of waiting for that talent level to explode, because I think all three of those guys are right on the edge of kind of turning into kind of the next generation of receivers. I'm excited to see how those guys progress this year.
You know a thing or two about Ivy League football, playing against Ivies, playing against Dartmouth. Watching the film this week, has there been any differences in the style, or you think there's still a lot of similarities to when you were playing?
Well, I mean, when I got yelled at 17, and the coordinators are still the same. Unfortunately, Coach Stevens unfortunately passed away, but he had set up a really good program in his time at Dartmouth, and I can't say enough good things about Coach Stevens and the job he did. I mean, he was a guy that took 6 years before they had a winning season when he took over. They had 2 winless seasons in his first, I think, 6, at least winless in Ivy. But he stayed with it, and he stayed with his style of football too, which I thought was so incredible. He didn't panic and try to reinvent the wheel, and he just stayed the course. And I think probably the biggest thing he did was he hired Don Dobes as DC, I think around 12 or 13, and Don, I know this is as a coordinator going against him. It's not super flashy, but man, they play hard, they're physical, they're sound, they're always in the right spot, they tackle well, and they play with a passion. And Kevin's been there, I think, since 17. Kevin Daff, the OC, he does, and Sammy took it over, and Sammy has been there forever. So, yeah, I mean, they've had a tremendous amount of continuity, same O-line guy, same D-line guy, tremendous amount of continuity. They do their stuff very, very well, offensively and defensively. So it's a great test. It's going to be a tough test, so it should be a really good game.
Coach, thank you. Good luck.
All right.
Got you back in time for kickoff here from Memorial Field. Henderson charges, puts toe to leather, line drive kick, near side. Lands in the end zone and rolls out of bounds for a touchback. With that, the Dartmouth offense takes over. Moving left to right, this is a Dartmouth team having the Dartmouth Big Green, part of a 3-way tie for the Ivy League Conference title last season, tied with Yale and Harvard. Yale gets 6 first-place votes, Harvard gets 7, Dartmouth gets 0 coming into this season.
And a ton of experience, so that's really odd to see, Lou. They have 7 of 11 offensive guys returning, 3 of 5 on their offensive line. So a team that tied in the victory for the Ivy League last season, won the championship in a 3-way tie. You'd expect them to get a little bit more votes, especially with all these returners on their offensive side of the ball. But what they'll be looking to do is run the ball. Coach Conlin said they're building an identity. That's what he was alluding to, being one of those teams that's really good at running the ball and then plays good defense on the other side, Lou.
Dartmouth takes over from their own 25, green tops, black pants. Fordham in white tops, maroon helmets, also black pants. It's Jackson Proctor, the new starting quarterback, takes the snap, gives left, Q Jones up for 5 yards, spins up, dives around the 30-yard line, and picks up about 6.
Well, there's Q Jones, number 2. We're going to see a lot of him today. An all-Ivy honorable mention at the end of 2023. 4 touchdowns. Can get it done in the receiving game, too. 26 receptions last season. One of their best pieces on offense.
He opens the Dartmouth season with a 6-yard carry. 2nd down and 4, 30 seconds in. Both tight ends motion over to the left. Snap. Give to Jones once again left side. Men at the 32-yard line. Maybe picks up another, but Sam Burkle flying in for the hit.
Sam Burkle with a nice hit there. Coach Conlin mentioned they're going to need to get a little bit more from their interior D linemen. They've been having very good play on those edges. Matt Jaworski out there, been one of the best defensive linemen in the Patriot League, but he wants to see a little bit more push. Sam Burkle showing it here early.
An early third down for a Fordham defense that had success last week. 3rd down and 2, a minute in. 2 receiver, 2 tight end set. Proctor, the shotgun snap, takes it himself, rolling right, throws on the run, has a wide open man at the opposing 40. That's Paxton Scott, cuts in left inside the 30, spinning forward just shy of the 20-yard line. A late flag comes from the far side judge, but a big deep pass to Paxton Scott.
What a grab and run there from Scott, able to evade a couple tacklers even after the big grab.
They are awaiting the ruling from this back judge. Is going to be going against Dartmouth, evidently, as Dartmouth starts to trail backwards.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block. Offense number 2, 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The play results in a 1st down.
Well, they'll still get the 1st down, but a blindside block on the senior running back, Hugh Jones, takes a little bit away from what was a pretty 44-yard reception for Paxton Scott.
Very pretty and very fortunate for this Fordham defense. They were expecting Proctor to take that one and run. He tucked the ball initially after catching the snap. A good play by him to deceive the defense, then putting it in his throwing hand, launching one down the field to a wide open Paxton Scott because the entire defense thought the ball was going to be rushed.
Well, the referees will now take some more time to look at this spot review if it's correct, see where the blindside block happened. Talk about this Fordham defense. It's a Fordham defense that did an admirable job of keeping Fordham in it last week. Fordham fell to Stony Brook 27-21, but all of their scoring after the first quarter came from the defense. A pair of pick sixes, Peter Shalhoub, Alex Kemper, as well as numerous stops there to give that offense a chance. Wasn't enough, and all told, the defense out there for 36 minutes, so not put in a great spot by the offense.
They've been the backbone of this team so far, Lou, and the stats don't really show it because of how poor situations they've been put in from the offense. 33 points per game allowed right now for this Fordham defense, but that doesn't really go to show how they've played out here. Like you said, Lou, a lot of interceptions, even some touchdowns. Been supporting. They just need the support back from their offense to finally put together a win here.
This Dartmouth offense, at least in years past, really known for the run attack. Their biggest loss offensively, the quarterback Nick Howard, who led the Ivy League in rushing touchdowns last season, a few seasons ago, was top 20 in the nation in rushing touchdowns. They used Proctor in passing situations, but this is a Dartmouth offense that in years past has not killed you with the passing attack, which, according to Coach Conlin, that's the one thing he's really looking to tighten up is their pass game.
And we don't really know what this offense is going to look like this season, Lou. Like you said, Jackson Proctor, a guy who really only played at the end of last season, a guy who came in as really their passing quarterback. They had a passing and a rushing quarterback. His last game versus Brown, Jackson Proctor threw 6 for 10, 42 pass yards and 1 touchdown. So really not attempting to do much through the air. That seems to have changed against this Fordham defense. I think you hit it on the nose, Lou. They might be looking to do that against a defense that's more that plays worse against the pass than the run.
Well, they'll keep the spot at the Fordham 40 for Jackson Proctor. He led the team with just 716 passing yards. It's a team that only averaged 160 per game. Completion percentage of nearly 75%. That would have led the Ivy League, but he didn't qualify because he didn't have enough passing attempts. So again, this is a Dartmouth offense predicated on this heavy run attack in previous years led by Nick Howard, Q Jones. Curious to see how they mix it up this year. They have a returning all-conference receiver in Paxton Scott. That was the first reception of the game. Play resumes here from the Fordham 40, fresh set of downs. Proctor in the gun, Jones to his right. 2 receiver, 2 tight end set. Snap, inside give, Q Jones, plenty of space, starts outside the 35, 30, 25, 20, has a lane, inside the 10, inside the end zone. Touchdown, Q Jones, 40 yards to the house, and Dartmouth 2 plays, they're on the board.
Q Jones, 4 touchdowns just like that last season. The offensive line flexing some muscle for the Big Green early. Up front, Joe Conlin said they tackle well and they play well up front. The defensive line is going to have to focus on that, but Dartmouth Big Green showing that they came to play out here early, charging down the field for the first score of the game.
As of right now, they They do have their kicker, number 35, Owen Zalk, out there, but an interesting formation. Just the center lined up and both sides of the O-line on either hash. Now they'll motion in. Owen Zalk, a preseason All-American, one of the best kickers in the nation, after a stunning freshman season, lines up for the extra point. 13:08 left in the first quarter. Dartmouth has already taken a 6-0 lead. Snap, spot, kick is up and good. And Dartmouth a 7-0 lead. Blink and you miss it. 2 minutes in. This Fordham defense, 2 plays, 75 yards. They allow the touchdown.
Yeah, seemed a little bit asleep on the Fordham defense. Missing tackles, not being able to shed blockers at all really on that rush by Q Jones. Besides him breaking a couple tackles, even when Paxton Scott caught that long ball, Lou, able to break away. So this Fordham defense is going to have to focus on getting these ball carriers on the ground and really wake up here.
And it's a Fordham defense that is going to need to play well if they want Fordham to help, or they want to help Fordham win some games here, because as we mentioned a little bit in the open, CJ Montes injured last week after getting sacked 5 times against Stony Brook. That 5th sack was the one that knocked him out. And he is sidelined for this week, so it's going to be Jack Capaldi in the gun for this Fordham offense. A Fordham offense that up and down, outside of maybe the run game, has really struggled to get anything going. And now they already find themselves in a 7-0 hole.
Yeah, 13 points per game on the season so far from the Fordham offense. Not what you want to see. Definitely going to need help from the defense. The last thing you want in a bad offense is to be playing from behind. You don't want to be down scores. You want to be able to use that rushing attack and the clock to your advantage.
The reigning Ivy League champs take an early 7-0 lead, 13:08 left in the first quarter. Matisse Weaver for the kickoff. He connects. End over end. Hatfield Fields from the far side too. Angling middle, eyeing the near sideline. Dragged down. Ahead of the 15-yard line, they'll say down at the Fordham 18.
Mason Hatfield, not the best return right there. Just a really good play by the Dartmouth coverage team. 2 kick returns last week for an average of 27 yards. Definitely his best game in the special teams department coming off that last week.
As this Fordham offense trots out there, Jack Capaldi, Ricky Parks, no Mackay Felton, no Garrett Cody. Instead, Cole Thornton, KJ Reed. Capaldi in the gun for his first snap from his own 18. Takes the snap, play action, fires, near side. Ricky Gonzalez goes to the ground and makes the catch for a quick gain of 4.
Jack Capaldi last week, 6 for 18, 92 yards, 2 interceptions versus Stony Brook, but not a game he was expecting to play in. This time he knows he's going to play.
Full week of practice under his belt. 2nd down and 6 snap. Play action. Throws middle. Ricky Gonzalez again. Brings it in over the middle. Has the first down at the 33.
Well, the sophomore from San Antonio, Texas, Ricky Gonzalez, came into this game with only run 1 reception on the season. He's already got 2 in this game.
Fordham moving quickly. And early on, Capaldi leaning on his young receivers. 2 for 2 to start this drive. Play action again. Near side screen. Almost picked off. Flying in from the secondary, Jordan Washington. And if he connects with that one, if he's able to hold on, he might have had a pick 6 there.
What a play by number 4, Jordan Washington. Sniffed out that screen pass, was able to beat the block by Matt Buron, the Fordham tight end, and almost took that one back for 6. That would have been a nightmare for this Fordham offense, Lou.
Washington tied for the Ivy lead in pass breakups last season. He gets an early one on his first defensive possession. Give left, Ricky Parks cuts up to the 35-yard line. Brought down by Ajay Adeli after a humble gain of 3.
Decent gain there from Ricky Parks. He's got 26 carries for 126 yards. Coming out there with the starting offense, maybe hoping to get some more carries this game.
3rd down and 7. Capaldi in the gun, 2 receivers either side. He drops back looking to throw. Forced out right. Has some space here. Takes it up at the 30-yard line, knocked out of bounds. Well shy of the first down. And Jack Capaldi's first drive able to pick up a first down, but ultimately forced to punt.
Well, something we were looking for, Lou, is he mobile? Is he going to be able to evade this pressure that the Fordham offense has seen all season the way CJ Montes did? Maybe not, but they're able to evade a sack, maybe get a couple yards. All he could really do, he'll bring out Will Hazlitt in the punt team.
We talked to head coach Joe Conlin about differences going from Montes to Capaldi. He said, well, he's not as athletic as CJ Montes, but probably more athletic than Tim DeMorat, so I put him right in between the two. Hazlitt stands at his own 20-yard line. Punts away with 11-17. Line drive kick bounces at the 30, takes a high hop, but rolling in a Fordham direction, eventually downed just ahead of the 20-yard line. Not a bad punt for Hazlitt. Doesn't trap them inside the 20, but right around that 20-yard line.
Yeah, just 1 yard from getting another stat in that 20-yard line. You hate to see it if you're Will Hazlitt, but you love to see the season he's been having so far. Last game, 8 punts. He was busy. 360 total punt yards. That's 44.5 yards per punt. Coach Conlin said he thinks he's the best punter in the Patriot League.
Replay is currently not functioning.
The referees announced that replay currently not functioning, maybe to support Conlin's point that Will Hazlitt, the best punter in the league, right now leads the Patriot League with 7 punts inside the 20. That one will not count as one as Dartmouth takes over from their own 21. Proctor back out there with the offense after a successful first drive. Inside give to Q Jones, takes it up to the 23-yard line. We'll call that a gain of 2.
Well, that's the push from the interior D-line Coach Conlin was looking for. He knows this experienced, large Dartmouth offensive line is going to be looking to show that all game long. It's up to this defensive front, these first 4, to really allow these linebackers to come up and make tackles. Did a good job there, only allowing 3 yards on first down.
Dartmouth will go to a 3-receiver set on 2nd down and 8. Proctor the snap, play action, design roll right, finds a tight end, Chris Corbo at the 25-yard line. Brought down by Courtney at the 27. Still a few yards shy of the first.
Yeah, completion there for the offense, but really a win for the defense because of the short game. Mike Courtney, Coach Conlin said, is the spark plug of this defense because of the emotion he plays with. You can see it right there. Tackles like no other on this defense, coming through, making the hit, delivering all the way to the turf.
3rd down and 3. Proctor's in empty. 3 up top, 2 down low. Just 4 in the box right now for Fordham. Now Cook motions behind Proctor. Throw over the middle, incomplete. Knocked away by Jalen Dawson. Proctor wanted Paxton Scott, but Jalen Dawson right there.
Jalen Dawson, the freshman from Goodyear, Arizona. A quote from his teammates is that he's playing better and better every game right there, really showing it. Great play to force the punt team to come out, give the Rams the ball back in a crucial spot.
Well, and all credit goes to this linebacker unit. You heard Coach Conlin say it. James Conway out, has not taken a snap all season, and that is an All-American linebacker, really the heart and soul of this defense. And without him, they've had to pick up the pieces with Courtney, with Dawson, Nick Pascarella, Jackson Barletta, and they've all filled in admirably. Davis Golick punts away from his own 16, doesn't get a lot into it. This will roll out of bounds just ahead of the 50-yard line. But excellent starting field position for Fordham on this second drive as a little bit of a missed kick by Davis Golick.
Absolute shank there from Davis Golick. Uncharacteristic for him right now. Last year he had a career high of 32 average on the yards for his punt. That time really doing his defense dirty, setting up this Fordham offense at around midfield. He'll look to just connect better on the ball his next time out. Really just a mistake.
This Fordham offense will take over from their own 46, so right around midfield, as you said. And maybe that helps breed a little bit more juice for this offense. Now, they have Julius Luffridge, who, ironically enough, nickname is Juice, leading the Patriot League in rushing yards. Didn't see him out there on that first drive. But the biggest issue for Fordham offensively has been the O-line and pass protection. 21 sacks allowed. That is the most in the nation, tied with Austin, PA. It's something they need to clean up if they want to have any type of success.
And it's very peculiar to see that if you're aware of this offensive line, if you're aware of the players on it and how long they've been playing. This offensive line is full of guys who played very long. Ryan Joyce started on this team in 2019. Cody Johnson's been the starting center for 2 years now. David Ebomenya has been getting play since his freshman year here at Fordham. But what I've heard from a lot of offensive linemen is it doesn't really matter if 4 of them play well at one play. It's a unit thing. All 5 of them have to play well. They're as weak as their weakest link lose, so they're going to be looking to keep it going here today, fix things up, and play well as a unit instead of individual offensive linemen.
A couple notable losses on that O-line from 2023 to 2024. Probably the most notable, Lucas Portez, starting left guard, had been in that spot for a while, a first-team All-Patriot League selection. Also Nolan Aloya on that right tackle, but Evan, you've kind of noticed it feels like the pressure and the holes are coming from the middle.
Definitely coming right in the center, which is not what you want to see. Those are those right now sacks. Part of the reason CJ Montes got injured, it's dangerous for a quarterback when you have much bigger defensive linemen rushing at you up the middle, and a lot of them going untouched, Lou, because this Fordham offensive line still struggling with twists, still struggling with looks that they're not used to seeing pre-snap and getting those figured out before the snap.
The offense back out there, and again, no Julius Luffridge. It's Ricky Parks in the backfield. No Garrett Cody, no Mekhi Felton in their stead. Again, Parks in the backfield. The sophomores KJ Reed and Ricky Gonzalez, the wideouts. Capaldi motions over Jaden Allen, tight to the line. 1st and 10 from the 46. Snap, delay give, Ricky Parks takes a hop and goes on the right side. Maybe gets one past the line of scrimmage.
Really nowhere to go there for Ricky Parks. A good job by the big green defensive line. That's probably the least experienced unit on this team, so if there's really a week that this Fordham offensive line hopes to get their footing, it could be today.
This Dartmouth team strong in the linebacker unit, strong in the secondary. Play action, Capaldi looking middle, fires, far sideline. Knocked away. Wanted a streaking Mekhi Felton out there in that play, but knocked away from that by that Dartmouth secondary, Patrick Campbell.
Yeah, Mekhi Felton, the guy we know who can make acrobatic catches, who can go up and get a ball over a corner, but that time in double coverage, really nowhere to put the ball. Defenders draped all over him throughout that route.
3rd down and 9. Dartmouth puts just 3 on the line. Capaldi the snap. Dartmouth sends 4. Steps up. Throws. Knocked away. Looked like it was tipped up by the linebacker Micah Green. And the Fordham offense quickly off the field.
Yeah, a negative drive there for the Fordham offense. You didn't even get a 1st down, not even 3 or 4 yards. But the offensive line did look good, Lou. They gave Capaldi back-to-back good pocket protection, just unable to connect with the receivers, but at least a positive sign on a negative drive.
9:05 left in the first quarter as the Fordham offense does not eat up a ton of time in that second possession. Will Haslett already back out there, his own 32. Here's the long snap. Haslett gets the punt away despite a strong pressure. It rolls inside the 5 and into the end zone. A touchback that has the Dartmouth offense taken over at the 20.
Haslett looking to pin that one inside the 20. It bounces at around the 15. Just takes an unfriendly Rams bounce into that end zone. Jackson Proctor and his boys will get the ball at the 25.
Still trying to figure out what this offense for Dartmouth is going to look like. They had the first big play pass to open up their offensive season. Proctor to Paxton Scott for 44 yards. Everything since then has been very run-heavy, kind of as we anticipated, but it seems like Proctor's talent's a bit more in the passing game, so still trying to figure out how this offense is going to shape up.
Right, last season, 2nd in the Ivy League in terms of rushing, 174 rushing yards per game. That's pretty crazy to think about. Now with Proctor, last year's passing quarterback, we'll see if that changes.
Proctor in the gun. Crother, the junior running back to his left. Receiver comes across in motion. This is the give right to Crother. Up past the 20, 25, 30-yard line. Still going, taking a couple defenders with him across the 40-yard line. Picks up a 1st down and then some. They'll spot it at the 42.
Holes all over this Fordham defense. A great job by DJ Crother's offensive line to give him plenty of room to run on that play.
Dartmouth moving quickly. Snap, give right, Crother. Cuts outside the hashes, this time tied up. After about 3 or 4, gets past the 45-yard line.
Crother, a 5'11 junior from Sacramento, California. Last season, not too big of a role, only 24 carries for 129 yards. Looking to step it up and have a bigger role in this offense this year.
2nd down and 6, 8:08 to play in the first quarter. Snap, give right, Crother. Met quickly by Alex Kemper in the backfield. Now go for a loss of 1. Alex Kemper's first tackle of the game, and it goes for a loss.
Alex Kemper, number 14, really exploded last game, Lou, with that pick 6, a 55-yard touchdown return on that interception. Someone who's been playing better and better every game this season, coming back from injury. Joe Conlin highlighted how good he's been for their defense their last 2 games.
Now they're going to spot the ball back at the 42, so a 3rd and 10 for the Dartmouth offense. 3-receiver tight end set. Proctor in the gun. Now Crother motions out wide, empty backfield for the senior Jackson Proctor. Fordham sends four, now they send five. A quick pass to Carruthers along the near side flat, breaks one tackle, breaks another, but can't break the third. Fordham swarms him at the 35. So credit Fordham with some more tackles for loss, and again forcing the punter Davis Golick out there.
And credit number 32, Jalen Dawson. He blew that play up by himself. He was double teamed on a block, broke through the gap between the two blockers, made the initial hit, couldn't bring down the ball carrier, got up, and then tackled the ball carrier again. You can see on that play why coaches call this guy special, even as a freshman.
Jalen Dawson takes down Carruthers, force the punt. Golick's punt clears the block. Mason Hatfield fair catch at the 20-yard line. Fordham defense, after an ugly first drive where they go down 2 plays, 75 yards and a touchdown, this Fordham defense has responded. They've forced 2 punts, and we're seeing more and more the identity that Coach Conlin said they were starting to create for themselves.
Yes, definitely a better drive there from this Fordham defense, and it started up front. Initially on those first 2 run plays, a lot of holes. That interior line Coach Conlin talked about not really getting it done, and then on those last plays when they were able to get off the field, you could see running backs waiting in the backfield, looking where to go. Ball carriers not having their blocks all the way set up, so Fordham just being faster to the ball on that drive.
6:36 left in the first quarter. Fordham trails 7-0. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
The one-on-one.
What's up, everyone? I'm Lou Orlando.
And I'm Evan Harkin. We're your broadcasters for the 2024 Fordham football season.
The Rams chase a Patriot League title led by league-leading quarterback CJ Montes and a host of talent, including James Conway, Niall Perkins, and Garrett Cody.
You can catch all of the games this season right here on 90.7 FM and the WFUV Sports YouTube page.
WFUV Sports, your home for Fordham football.
Heard it in the promo. Fordham football can be found all season long on 90.7 FM WFUV. Lou Orlando, Evan Harkin taking you through it this season, and a Fordham offense trots back out there for their third drive. Capaldi's had some time to throw so far, Evan.
Yeah, on that first drive, had a ton of time and looked really good finding receivers open, finding them early, looking like he knew what the defense was in. On the second drive, the opposite, Lou. Still had time, not really know what the defense is in, throwing balls that got tipped, not connecting with receivers downfield. We'll see if he can execute with time on this drive if the offensive line gives it to him.
Capaldi in the gun from the 20 has Mason Hatfield to his right. Play action, Capaldi rolls out right, has some space, throws on the run, but behind Jeff Ciccio, incomplete.
Capaldi on the rollout, looking for Jeff Ciccio.
Yeah, rollout pass there for Capaldi, who we said he's got a little bit of mobility, just unable to make a good throw on the run there. Really an uncatchable ball thrown to the longtime tight end, Jeff Ciccio.
The wide receiver group right now, Noden Tracy, Cole Thornton, and KJ Reed. The tight end, Ciccio, tight to the line left. 2nd and 10, 6:30 left in the first quarter. Play action, Capaldi looks middle, throws middle, KJ Reed, the bobbling catch. 34-yard line, picks up the first down.
Well, there he is, KJ Reed. Last week led the Rams in receiving yards, 65 on 3 receptions.
Fordham, the first down set up at the 33-yard line. Capaldi having some success with his young sophomore wide receivers. Here's the snap. Far side screen. KJ Reed tripped up right there at the line of scrimmage.
Fordham going out to the perimeter on that play, maybe trying to help out this offensive line that struggled early on this season. Really not have to do a whole lot of pass pro right there. Just a good job defensively to rally to the football.
The Rams trail 7-0, 5:40 left to go in the first. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Play action, Capaldi sensing pressure, steps up, brought down, but was able to get past the line of scrimmage, maybe a couple inches. It'll still be 3rd and long, but Capaldi avoids the sack.
Decent job there from Capaldi. That's a right now sack, Lou. A defensive lineman getting right off of the initial block, right in Capaldi's face. He did a good job to just get a yard there.
Strong pressure off the near edge from Braden Mullen. 5.5 sacks last season. Third down and 9. Capaldi looking to throw, looks middle, floats middle. Jeff Ciccio can't make the diving grab, tightly covered. In Dartmouth territory, no flag. And that will force the punt unit back out there.
Good coverage there by Zach Ferris. Played in all 10 games last season, only 6 tackles. So early on this year, showing that he can take another step in this Dartmouth D.
Hold on a second. For now, Fordham has the offense out there. Now they will send out Will Hazlitt as both special teams units swap on. 5:01 left in the first quarter. The Fordham offense, outside of a few completions, having trouble to string together multiple good plays and move the ball down the field. Hazlitt at his own 21. Takes the snap. Punt might have been tipped a little bit. It lands at the 32. Takes a Fordham bounce and keeps rolling. It will go inside the 20. Downed by Niall Perkins at the 14-yard line. And Evan, I'm not sure that punt either came off the foot clean or maybe had some trouble getting through the line. But either way, it gets inside the 20.
An odd way to have a really good punt, but Will Hazlitt gets that 20-yard punt that he almost got. That punt where you trap them inside the 20. A big stat for punters, are able to get one there with a friendly bounce. And in a field position game so far, he's been playing really well. Dartmouth will get the ball inside their own 15.
It's a Dartmouth offense that after that first booming drive, the 2 plays and the touchdown, has looked a little less electric on their 2 subsequent drives, and Fordham has tightened up some of the things they needed to tighten up on the defensive end, but again, putting pressure on that defensive unit. Proctor in the gun, motions 2 tight ends over to the left side. 4:47 left, 1st and 10 from the 14. Give left, Q Jones has a hole through the B gap, lunges for the 20-yard line, and picks up 5.
Mike Courtney with another good tackle right there. Even when there's a big hole in the defensive line for the Fordham Rams, the linebackers doing a good job. Jalen Dawson, Mike Courtney especially, of coming up and stopping plays as soon as possible.
Mike Courtney, 12 tackles last week, and one of 6 Rams to set a career high in tackles for a single game. 2nd down and 5. 4:17 left in the first quarter. Proctor flanked by running backs on either side. Snap, inside give, Q Jones, tackled right away by Matt Jaworski. Not going to let anything happen on that play.
Matt Jaworski, a great job in the run game. A guy who's typically known for his pass rush abilities. He has 12 pressures right now. No one else in the Patriot League has more than 4, but that time showing he can play the run just as well.
Jaworski still looking for his first sack of the season, but picks up his 17th tackle. And he has been a force when it comes to forcing pressure and being a stopper in the run game. 3rd down and 5, Proctor and empty. Dartmouth leads 7-0. Trips right. Fordham sends 4. Proctor looks middle, throws middle, Paxton Scott wide open, has the first down, past the 30, takes it outside along the sideline, and ripped around and knocked out of bounds at the 39. Not before a big game that picks up the first.
That's a matchup nightmare for 3rd down. You do not want middle linebacker Jalen Dawson, although he's a very good tackler, covering the other team's best receiver in Paxton Scott. One-on-one man coverage. Proctor able to send them in motion to diagnose that the defense was in man coverage, seeing the matchup he wanted, knew he was going to him before the snap even happened. It's a first down for the Big Green.
3 minutes left in the first. Proctor with Jones to his right. Motions a receiver across. Play action, facing pressure, hit as he throws. This one will land out of bounds. But my, oh my, Jalen Dawson delivering a big hit on that blitz.
Yeah, Jalen Dawson saying, if I'm not going to make plays in the pass game, I'm just going to come hit you before you're able to pass the ball. Monstrous pressure right there, very close to a sack, able to force the incompletion.
Fordham got 3 sacks last week after getting none the first 2 games of the season. 2nd down and 10, wide receivers in tight. Sean Ward motions across. 3 on the right side. Proctor looking left, now scrambles right, has some space, wants Q Jones, it's incomplete. Bobbled by Jones, the pass a little bit behind them, and Fordham, for a second, thought maybe they could dive and pick off that ball.
Yeah, dangerous bobble right there by Q Jones, almost a play you might want to smack it down as an offensive player. 3 Rams in the vicinity, all diving at that football, no one able to get it before it hits the turf.
Fordham trying to force a 3rd straight punt, 2:42 left in the first quarter. It's 3rd down and 10. Proctor has trips right. And the senior running back, Hugh Jones, to his left. Fordham puts 5 on the line. Looks like they've got Jaworski lined up right on top of the center for this play. Proctor takes the snap, facing pressure, throws middle, brought in around the 48-yard line. Is it enough for the first down? They say yes, move the chains. An 11-yard reception picks up the first down.
Well, a beautiful play there overall by Jackson Proctor. He gets hit very hard by Matt Jaworski, who gets another pressure right there, but is able to put the ball in the perfect spot. He threw it above the receiver's head on purpose because there was a linebacker shooting in from the opposite side, looking to make the tackle, leaving the receiver room up top to get the ball and bring it down.
2:10 and ticking. Dartmouth at their own 49. Motion across. It's the pitch forward. Takes it wide past midfield. 40. The 30 tripped up and knocked out of bounds.
It's a pitch to Nick Lemon for the big green in the Fordham territory.
It's a pitch to the wide receiver, Nick Lemon, that goes for 23 yards and into Fordham territory.
Fordham going to have to do a better job of containing on these run plays. The success the Big Green are having is on these sweeps, especially to the right side of their offense, the left side of the Fordham defense. Their defensive ends and outside linebackers over here are going to have to do a way better job of forcing everything, funneling it back towards the middle where your tacklers are.
Proctor and Pistol Jones behind him. Dartmouth looking to build on a 7-0 lead. The pitch right to Q Jones. Stiff arms one defender, works up past another. Past the 30-yard line, won't get more than 2. As he's met by Jaworski and Claudia Robinson.
Well, that time right on cue, Jackson Barletta doing just that, containing very well. He's unable to make the tackle because he might have even been over-containing, not allowing the sideline to be given up by the defense. But what that does is forces the rusher to go back inside. It gives Claudia Robinson a chance to get a tackle.
Minute 10 left in the first. Proctor has DJ Cruther to his left for 2nd down and 8. Both tight ends motion to the right side, 2 receivers on the left. Fordham sends 5. The keeper, Proctor, throws on the run at the 25. He's got Scott. Scott picks up the first down at the 20-yard line and takes this offense inside the red zone.
Paxton Scott, number 7 for the Big Green, showing you why he led the team in receiving yards and receptions for his 3rd straight season last year. Going to go down as maybe one of the best receivers at Dartmouth right now, showing up in this game.
And despite the low amount of pass attempts for them last season, Scott still finished 5th in the Ivy League in receptions and receiving yards. Just goes to show how talented he is. 1st and 10 from the 19. Scott comes across to the right side. 25 seconds left. Play action. Proctor rolls right, looks left, has a wide open man. Q Jones at the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Dartmouth. Q Jones, his 2nd touchdown of the game. And Dartmouth takes a 2-score lead with 17 seconds left in the first.
If you're the Fordham Rams defense, you have to be more disciplined, but what a play by Jackson Proctor. He purposely flips his hips, squares his shoulders to his right, forcing the zone defense to all run to their right side, leaving Hugh Jones wide open on the left. Proctor knows that's going to happen, flips back to the other way, delivers a strike. 6 points, Dartmouth.
Dartmouth in their 2024 season opener out to the early 2-score lead and a pair of touchdowns for Hugh Jones, who was an all-Ivy honorable mention last season. Going to build on that as a senior. Extra point from Zalk up and through the uprights. Here's a flag from one of our referees. The extra point would make it a 14-0 game for Dartmouth so far.
Personal foul, Lethan, defense number 12.
Personal foul on Andrew Osman. Dartmouth will elect to use that foul on the kickoff, make things a little tougher for the freshman Bennett Henderson.
Yeah, and if you want anyone to knock in an extra point, it's number 35, Owen Zalk, led the Ivy League with 76 points last season. One of the best freshmen in the country at his respective position.
Dartmouth has strength really in every unit, but I think you can make a case that their strongest unit is their special teams, and of course that's largely because of Owen Zalk. But when you look at the title run they made last year, I think the two things you chalk it up to, outside of the rushing attack, it was a defense that was third best in the Ivy, and it was, again, that special teams unit, one of the best kickers in the nation that helped them to a 5-2 conference record. And in the wake of the death of longtime coach Buddy Stevens, Dartmouth surprisingly is able to pull out this amazing conference title, really in his honor, a season that was dedicated to him. So that was a feel-good and emotional season for Dartmouth, and now they're looking to rebound and do it again. They've won titles in 4 of their last 5 seasons. They've been a powerhouse in the Ivy. You see here, off to an early start.
Absolutely, Lou, and Zalk deserves a little bit more credit for last season than he might even get, even though he gets a ton from a lot of different companies right now. Dartmouth record for most field goals in a season. He had 17 of those last year. And then you touched on the defense as well. They're returning a lot of big-name guys. Also, Sean Williams, probably the most notable, started every single game, 55 tackles in that safety unit. But he's not the only good DB on this team. They have a ton of returners, a ton of depth, and really good football players.
When you look at this defense, they lose their leading tackler, Charles Lewis. They lose their leader in sacks, Charles Lewis. They lead their leading tackler, Macklin Ayers. But there's still so much talent in this defensive unit. I look at a guy like Braden Mullen, that injuries kept him to 5 games played. Still 5.5 sacks, which was second on the team. You have Danny Cronin, who's one of their best linebackers as well. And then the secondary, couple guys we've already talked about, Jordan Washington, Sean Williams. It may not be as deep as it was last year, but this is still a talented defensive group.
And Braden Mullen was 4th in the league with 5.5 sacks before that injury took him off the field. Danny Cronin had 55 tackles and an interception. Like you said, a lot of stat leaders leaving. Maybe that's the reason for a lot of preseason award givers giving Dartmouth such a low spot on the poll. But like we said, Lou, a lot of overlooked guys, maybe due to injury last season, that are returning, looking to make another big mark on this Dartmouth football team.
Just 17 seconds left in the first quarter, and once again, the Fordham Rams, who are 0-3, find themselves in an early hole. Kicks away from Matisse Weaver. A line drive kick bounces at the 20. It's fielded on the near side by Noden Tracy, looking to take it wide. He's got some space. Turns up past the 25, but here's a block, or here's a flag from our judge in the near side end zone, and this could be against Fordham.
Looks like it will be against Fordham. Multiple coaches throwing their clipboards on the ground during a decent return as they saw that flag fly.
During the return, hold it. The shooting team, number 0. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, the penalty going against D. Rice Williams negates a solid return by Noden Tracy, who got up to the 25-yard line, and if he's able to beat that tackler on the wide side, could have had way more as well. Fordham has not been super sharp about penalties and whatnot and getting out of their own way. When you think back to last week, they scored the game-tying touchdown. A holding from Jeff Ciccio took it away, and then Capaldi threw a second interception, and Stony Brook sealed the game.
Right, and they only had 3 penalties for 39 yards in that game, so the penalties really coming in crucial moments. Yet again here, all you want to do is set up the offense that's been struggling in a good position.
9 seconds left in the first quarter. Play action, Capaldi wrapped up but able to throw, finds Cole Thornton at the 5-yard line, gets back up to the 9-yard line. It will go for a loss of 1, but impressive by Capaldi just to be able to get that ball out.
Some magic there by number 11, Jack Capaldi. He has a defender draped on his hips, on his legs, able to fling it out to Cole Thornton, who did a very good job of coming back to the football, not allowing defenders to get in the way as he beats him to the ball.
1 quarter of play underway here from Hanover, New Hampshire. The Rams trail 14-0. We send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for the first time today. Kurt Sippel has your one-on-one scoreboard update.
A one-on-one scoreboard.
With 4 weeks into the college football season, let's go around the conferences and take a look at the action. The Thunder Herd of Marshall College are taking on the 2-0 Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes are out in front 28-7 with 2 minutes left in the second. taking a ride down to South Carolina where the 1-1 Clemson Tigers are attempting to hunt for a win against the 2-1 NC Wolfpack. The score for this game is 42-7. The Tigers are running away with this one with 1 minute left in the second quarter. Down to St. Ames, Iowa in Jack Trice Stadium, the 2-1 Arkansas State Red Wolves are gearing up to play against the Iowa State Cyclones, slated for a 2 p.m. start. Let's get a quick run-through on some of the games starting later this afternoon. The 3-1 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets kick off against the Louisville Cardinals at 3:30. Miami, Ohio Redhawks and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame get things started at 3:30 in South Bend. Kent State is looking for a rebound game against their 71-point loss against Tennessee last week, but faced with a tough task playing Penn State at 3:30. The Buffalo Bulls will be in North Illinois facing the number 23 ranked Huskies, seeing red charging out of the tunnels at 3:30. Last but not least, we got another matchup of the Big Ten as the USC Trojans host the Michigan Wolverines. With your one-on-one scoreboard, I am Kurt Sippel.
And thank you, Kurt. You can catch another one-on-one scoreboard update at the end of the third quarter. But back to the field here at Memorial Field, Orlando Evan Harkin. And the Rams trail 14-0. Once again, the offense shut out through a quarter of play, and the defense, a little too many holes there with a struggling offense.
Yeah, the offense really struggling right now. Can't seem to get anything going. The offensive line still not doing a good job of protecting Capaldi. Really had pressure in his face that whole time. But as a defense, you know you've played well. You got to try to replicate that here, Lou. They've had good drives. Their issues on drives where they get scored on is discipline. It's not anything talent, athleticism. It's just Jackson Proctor being able to manipulate them when he wants with his eyes, with play action, with receivers running routes on purpose to draw the eyes of the defense. So really just have to do a better job of staying disciplined. But besides that, have been playing well on defense. They have to keep it up to support this offense.
It's week 4 of the college football landscape, but it's the season opener for Dartmouth. The IB started up a little bit later than everyone else. They only play 10 games in a season. So, Evan, we kind of wondered, what does this mean? Season opener for Dartmouth in front of the home fans. They look pretty sharp to start.
They do look pretty sharp right now, firing on all cylinders, and who looks really sharp is number 12, their quarterback, Jackson Proctor, picking up where he left off at the end of last season. All his teammates saying throughout preseason, throughout camp, they have all the confidence in this guy to lead them this year, showing it so far.
No appearances from Julius Luffridge and Garrett Cody in that first quarter. Capaldi in the gun parks to his left for 2nd and 11. As we start the second quarter back up, the Rams trailing by 14. Fires left side, has Ricky Gonzalez, spins and out of tackle up to the 15. Now brought down by Sean Williams at the 18-yard line.
And there's the perimeter game again that this offense probably will have to rely on more and more if they can't get anything going north and south. Getting it out to athletic receivers near the sideline. Good job there of getting extra yards by number 5.
The third reception of the day for Ricky Gonzalez sets up 3rd and 2. Capaldi the snap, looking left, throws left. And this time, Ricky Gonzalez can't make the play. Was open, goes to his knees, and just drops it.
And they're going to need those. You got to catch the ones you're supposed to. Now it's 4th down, Lou. Good job of Capaldi by diagnosing the defense, seeing who should be open. It's going to send the Rams punt unit out, not what they wanted to see on this drive.
I think there's part of head coach Joe Conlin that wants to go for it, but he just can't make that risk in a 2-score game with the offense struggling the way they have. And there have been a couple plays like that throughout this season. Open 3rd downs, open wide receivers, crucial drops that have really just drilled the nail into a tough start for this Fordham Ram offense. Hazlitt's punt away, spiraling to the 35. Williams dodges one tackle up past the 45, brought down by Mike Courtney at midfield.
Another great tackle there from Mike Courtney. That one could have been ripped for a lot more yards by Williams. Another decent punt, but this Fordham defense yet again going to have to show out. It's hard to play good defense, Lou, when you're on the field for so long, like last game, around 36 minutes of them being on the field. They get tired. The offense really got to step it up. Right now they have 4 rushing yards. You got to give the defense a little bit more of a water break on that sideline, but we'll see if they can prevail.
Last week, the Fordham defense on the field for 36 minutes, the offense 23. To start this game, Dartmouth 10 minutes of possession. Fordham has less than 6. So a clear disparity there in terms of time of possession once again. This Fordham defense will have to hold this Dartmouth offense, and they only have 52 yards to work with. Proctor takes the shotgun snap, gives right to Q Jones. Jones jukes, hesitates, works up past midfield. Still going, dragging a defender to the 45. Defender got grab of his undershirt, but Jones kept going.
That was all Q Jones on that run. It got blown up by Cloudy Robinson. Really good job of blowing it up, getting in the backfield. Matt Jaworski comes in, tries to make the tackle. He's a great defender, couldn't make the tackle on a very good back. And Q Jones, who rumbles his way for a lot of extra yardage.
13:50 left in the first half. Dartmouth already up 2 touchdowns. And now inside Fordham territory, 2nd and 4 from the Fordham 45. Proctor and empty. Everyone tight to the formation. Now Jones joins him in the backfield. Fordham sends 4. Delay give to Q Jones. Cuts out left. Tackled ahead of the first down marker. So move the chains as Jones gets up to the 41.
Moving the chains there, but a good play by the Fordham defense. Didn't have a lot to work with on that specific first down right there. Matt Jaworski with another good hit, doing a good job of setting the edge in the run game. A converted linebacker, so a guy who not only knows how to rush the passer, but to corral running backs as well.
Dartmouth picking up a quick first down on this drive, 1st and 10 from the Fordham 41. Jones stays out there to the right of Proctor. He's got 2 receivers on the left. Takes the snap, gives left to Jones. Once again tied up in the backfield, but doing his best to get back to the line of scrimmage. Jaworski takes him down.
Well, there he is again, big number 34. I mentioned a converted linebacker. That time, pretty much playing linebacker. He did that throughout high school, shuffling his feet there, not even in a 3-point stance to start the play, finding the running back, shooting over and taking him down.
No gain for Q Jones. Haven't seen too many of those to start today. 2nd down and 10, 12:15 left in the first half. Play action, design roll right for Proctor, throws on the run, wide open, Paxton Scott at the 25, gets inside the 20, brought down at the 15. Paxton Scott could not have been more alone on that play, and Dartmouth keeps moving.
And that goes back to the discipline of this Fordham defense. They started off really good job, Matt Jaworski in the backfield, causing Proctor to roll out, but when he rolls out, that forces Mike Courtney and Jalen Dawson both to come up, play him, play the ball carrier, leaving Scott open right behind them. One of them should have stayed on Scott. Just another discipline mistake, another error.
Proctor in the gun for a red zone snap at the Fordham 14. DJ Crother to his left in the backfield. The give to Crother right side, met by the D lineman, still on his feet, trying to move the pile forward. And does for a gain of 2.
Good job from the interior line right there. Jackson Barletta helping them out as well, coming in and cleaning up the end of that hit.
A humble gain of 2. We'll set up 2nd down and 8. Paxton Scott on the sideline for a 2nd snap here in the red zone. The wide receivers Grayson O'Bara and Painter Richards Baker. Pair of tight ends on the line. And Crother to the right of Proctor. 2nd and 8, 10:50 to go. Inside give, Crother. No, it's kept by Proctor, rolling right inside the 15-yard line. Gets up to 13. A pretty read option fooled me, but didn't fool the Fordham defense, who hold it to a gain of 1.
No, didn't fool them on that play. That time, a really good job of discipline, Lou. They show these glimpses of a really good defense that plays everything really well, really tight, and then just sometimes have these errors, these lapses, and mental focus. Not that time, though. Holding strong here in the red zone so far.
Paxton Scott back out there for 3rd down in the near slot. Fordham looking to hold Dartmouth to a field goal. 3rd and 8 from the 12. It's Crother, sidecar left to Proctor. Snap, looks right, fakes right, throws, end zone. The catch by Chris Corbo, back of the end zone, incomplete, they say.
That one was close, too. I'd be surprised if they don't review this one unless they can't review it, Lou. They mentioned earlier that the replay was not working, but might have been able to get 1 foot there at the collegiate level, a really good ball. But nonetheless, it's going to be an incomplete pass, so great coverage by Andrew Osman, forcing him out the back of that end zone, not allowing a foot or 2 in.
Chris Corbo insisting that they review that play when the coaches had to come over and say, hey, calm down a little bit. But Dartmouth will review this play, And again, at the collegiate level, you only need 1 foot. They'll see if the tight end Chris Corbo was able to drag it in there. The Dartmouth scoreboard trying to show the replay on the field, but they cut away right before the catch in the end zone, so that doesn't help us out too much. But watching that play live, Evan, I thought he got it in.
I thought there was definitely a good chance he got that in. It seemed like that second foot might have been out of bounds at the same time, Lou. But usually you're putting 1 foot in front of the other. I'm sure you could stop it at a frame where he's got 1 foot in and that second foot hasn't touched the white chalk out of bounds yet. A very good ball and catch if they're able to turn this into a completion. Pro-level stuff from Jackson Proctor if this can be a touchdown for the Big Green.
Fordham certainly hoping that the call stands. Even if it does, you're still facing the prospect of going down 3 scores, but 17 feels a little different than 21.
Yeah, it definitely feels different, especially when you haven't been able to score touchdowns really at all this season offensively. It's been mostly defensive if you want 6 points from the Rams. So this offense going to have to step up. I've been saying it, keep saying it. We'll see if they can finally do it when they get back out there on this field after the review.
Jackson Proctor looks like a natural out there, and Dartmouth leaning into the passing attack a little more against Fordham. Right now, Proctor's QBR, 183.1. That is not a number you typically see too much, especially after 1 quarter of play. 8 of 12, 127 yards and a touchdown. Obviously pending the ruling here on Chris Corbo. The crowd starts to cheer. Referees after review rule touchdown Chris Corbo, and Dartmouth leads 20-0 with 10:01 left to play in the first half. Fordham Rams just feels like nothing going right.
Yeah, nothing at all. What a catch there from Chris Corbo. Even when you have guys in the right spot, Andrew Osman was all over him. He couldn't have been more covered. That's just a 6'5" tight end being able to go up and get a perfect ball out of the air over a safety. Perfect execution from the Big Green.
Dartmouth has put a 20 spot on the board, looking to make it 21 with 10 minutes left in the first half. Salk is perfect. 2 of 2 today on extra points. Here's his third. And straight through once again. A 21-0 lead for the Big Green. 10:01 left to go in the first half. You're listening to Fordham Football on WFUV Sports.
What's up, everyone? I'm Evan Harkin, your New York Jets beat reporter for the 2024 season. Stay up to date with all things white and green from MetLife Stadium. From Aaron Rodgers' touchdowns to Sauce Gardner interceptions, I've got you covered. So join me and Gang Green on Twitter at Ev Harkin and stay locked in with the JETS on WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Orlando, Evan Harkin, Fordham Football on 90.7 FM WFUV. And the 0-3 Fordham Rams potentially in the first half already facing the prospect of going to 0-4 as they trail 21-0 with 10 minutes left in the first half. I want to talk about the Big Green for a little bit. One of 3 reigning Ivy League champions won their 21st. That's the most in Ivy League history. But it's a team that lost some talent, has a big core remaining here, an experienced core, and one of their experienced leaders on the D-line, Josiah Green, said, as the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Dartmouth looks anything but broken right now.
Yeah, nothing to fix offensively right now for the Big Green. Like I said, it's going to be a rushing attack battle between a team that was known for running the ball last year, that's their MO, and a team who's having to start their backup quarterback. You need to win in the trenches. You need to be able to pound the rock. Well, right now, in that first quarter, it just started the second quarter, so it's even worse. But Dartmouth ran for 101 yards. Fordham rushed for 4 yards, just 4. That's the disparity right now in this football game. That's why it's a 3-score difference, Lou.
The run game has been a strength for the Fordham Rams, led by Julius Luffridge, who leads the Patriot League in rushing yards. He has not been out there for a snap today, and that's on top of no Garrett Cody And obviously we knew going in there'd be no CJ Montes.
Right, Julius Lufford's been the workhorse back for this offense so far. I mean, right now, 338 yards on the season. You need him in this game, but if you can't, Ricky Park's going to have to step up for this offense.
Kick from Weaver will go over Hatfield's head and into the end zone. Fordham takes over at the 25. It's a Fordham offense that, led by Jack Capaldi, hasn't gotten too much going. Capaldi 6 of 12, 39 yards. Evan, as you said, just 4 yards in the rushing attack. Ricky Gonzalez leads the receiving game with 3 receptions, 29 yards. They're going to need a lot more, especially now down by 3 scores.
And they've been looking to dink and dunk to take these little completions and try to march down the field. Just hasn't been working. A couple drops, some negative plays will ruin that game plan.
Capaldi motions Allen tight to the line. Has 2 receivers down low, Parks to his left. Snap, give right, Ricky Parks has some space off right tackle. Drops the shoulder ahead of the 25 and brought down at the 28, a gain of 3.
Decent gain there. It's only 3 yards, but you're able to see the offensive line open up a hole. Big for the morale of this offense and the backfield.
That's the right tackle, Owen Deutsch, who slotted in for an injured Cooper LaFond. 2nd down and 7, 9:36 left in the first half. Dartmouth has 5 on the line, 6 on the box. And Capaldi will motion Allen over to the left side to account for Micah Green, who drops back to the second level. Capaldi looking left, floats left, wants KJ Reed. It lands at his feet, incomplete, and KJ Reed, shadowed by Sean Williams, couldn't even turn around to look for the football.
And that's a theme we saw a lot last week, too. Jack Capaldi, who we know has the arm talent, who has accuracy, just unable to build that chemistry and connect with these young receivers just yet. Hopefully for this Rams offense's sake, he can start to do that as this game progresses.
The Rams trailing by 21. Face a 3rd and 7 from their own 28. Still 9:17 left in the first half. Dartmouth sends 4. Capaldi has some time, steps up, cuts right. Still behind the line of scrimmage, takes a tackler head on, and tackled shy of the 30-yard line. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, but nothing open downfield. And another empty possession for the Fordham offense.
Yeah, nowhere for Capaldi to go with the ball there. Pretty much a coverage sack, if not a sack, because Capaldi was able to evade a pass rush right there. Good job by him of just getting a few yards, but a bad dive by the offense yet again, Lou.
Fordham has already struggled, especially 21 sacks allowed through 3 games, but you have to imagine those troubles get confounded when you don't have your starting running back, you really don't have your top 2 wide receivers, and you don't have your starting quarterback.
Yeah, it gets a lot worse for a team that was already struggling in a lot of different departments.
Hazlitt at his own 14. Long snap. Line drive punt, a little wobbly, caught by Williams at the 40, stumbles but stays on his feet, jukes back, still on his feet around the 40-yard line, shakes another man, finally brought down at the 40. Now we've got 2 flags from our near side judges.
Flags seem to come in as the tackle happened. Interested to see what these are going to be. We'll wait on the officials.
Sean Williams did a magnificent job of staying on his feet, shaking numerous tackles.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 85. 10-yard penalty. First down, Dartmouth.
That'll be a block in the back. Going against Dartmouth, number 85, Jackson Namian. Williams was brought down at the 40. This will take them back to the 30.
But what a run, like you said, Lou, from Williams. Evaded about 5 tacklers with the exact same hesitation move. A little step forward, I'm about to take off this way. And then a step backwards, pushing the defender by him with his offhand. Pretty to watch him cut in and out of those holes.
Sean Williams, 2nd team All-Ivy, both as a cornerback, both as a safety, and as a return specialist, so a very talented and versatile athlete. Proctor takes the snap from the 30, gives left Q Jones, cuts up at the 30, tackled from behind by Burkle, but falls forward for 2.
Sam Burkle, another member of the Rams, who had his career high in tackles last week, has been stepping it up all season, making a big difference in this interior defensive line. Good job there to hold them on first down.
Q Jones has broke off a few good runs. Burkle there makes sure that that's only a gain of 2 for 2nd and 8. 7:40 and ticking on our first half. Dartmouth already a 21-0 lead. Corbo motions off the line out wide to the left side. Motion across from Namian. Give left once again. Q Jones wants the outside edge up to the 30-yard line, spinning forward and reaches for the 40. And is he going to have the first down here? He does. Q Jones, met by a tackler at the 35, somehow gets 5 more there.
That's all Q Jones yet again, a guy who's showing maybe he should have been even more than an all-Ivy honorable mention at the end of last season right there, showing great patience to let the block set up, but once he sees them set up, firing through that hole, bruising through tackles, finding the first down.
He'll stay out there, sidecar left, 1st and 10 from the Dartmouth 41. Motion across, play action. The dump off left side for Crother. Crother met by Jalen Dawson at the 39-yard line, rule of the gain of 2.
Great job there by Jalen Dawson, diagnosing where the ball is, and he's such a secure tackler right there. You rarely ever see number 32 flop off of a hit. Takes him all the way to the ground with pressure right there, setting up a 2nd down and long here for Big Green.
Fordham trying to keep this lead at 21 and help out a struggling Fordham offense. It's Proctor and empty, 3 up top, 2 down low for 2nd down and 11. Crother motions across. Quick throw left side, Paxton Scott at the 39, cuts up with some space, past midfield. Tackled by Matt Jaworski right at the 1st down marker, and that's enough to move the chains.
And there's Paxton Scott again, cutting through this Fordham Rams defense. 51 receptions for 630 yards last season, 2 touchdowns. He'll probably take that up even another notch this season in his senior year.
5th reception of the day for Paxton Scott, already up over 100 yards. We've got 5.5 minutes left in the first half. So a run-heavy offense, as Dartmouth has been known to be, using the pass game to good effect here. Proctor in the gun, Scott to his left. Here's the give left for Crother, space off left tackle, shrugs off one defender, forced out of bounds by Kemper at the 42. Just a couple yards away from the first down as this offense keeps rolling.
That time, Delby Lemieux, number 75, probably the best offensive lineman on this Dartmouth unit. All-Ivy honorable mention, doing a great job of setting the edge as he has been all game, really allowing Dartmouth to focus their rushing attack on bouncing it off of his outside hip, giving the running backs ton of room out there towards the sideline.
Just 2 returning starters on the line with the right guard Kyle Brown out to start the season. It hasn't been an issue for them so far. 2nd and 5 from the Fordham 44. Play action. Proctor has plenty of space as he keeps it left past the 40, past the 30. Knocked out of bounds right around the 20-yard line. But a 20-plus yard run for Jackson Proctor. And this Dartmouth offense taking whatever they want on this drive.
Well, a guy who's identified as this team's passing quarterback, showing he can get it done with his legs too. But that time again, I mean, they're just focusing on Delby Lemieux, their big left tackle, saying he's going to beat whoever's across from him and give us the outside lane, give us the C gap to run through. They're doing a good job of executing that here, Lou.
4:20 left in the first half. The ball spotted at the 21. Dartmouth looking to make this a 4-score game potentially. Proctor in the gun, Crother to his right. Snap. Proctor keeps it, slides at the 15. They'll rule it a gain of 4, but it takes them inside the red zone.
Back-to-back read options there for Proctor. Both times the DN on either side crashing towards the running back, trying to help out this rush defense that hasn't been too good to start the game. Proctor taking advantage of that, manipulating the D as he has been all first half.
With Owen Zalk, the kicker, you figure that 3 points almost automatic. Dartmouth trying to get 7. 3:33 left in our first half. Corbo comes across in motion. It's the give left to Crother. This time Crother tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Jaworski and Burkle both in there for the stop.
Good job there by the defensive line to really corral that. Proctor smacking his hands together after giving that ball up. Probably should have kept it himself yet again, as the defensive ends seem to be crashing very hard every play. Would be surprised if they don't run another read option coming up on this drive.
3rd down and 5 at the Fordham 16. They need the 11 for the first. 3 receivers and tight ends up top. 1 down low, and Crother the back to the right of Proctor. Corbo comes across in motion to either side. Proctor looking left, looking middle, brought down Sam Burkle gets his first sack of the season.
Sam Burkle
It
in
takes
on
them
the sack
outside the
for
red
Fordham.
zone. And that should force Owen Zauk out there for the field goal.
Sam Burkle with a huge play right there, the first sack of the game for the Fordham Rams. He only had 1 sack last season to go along with 4 fumble recoveries that led the Patriot League. So a guy who's got a nose for the football. Excellent play there for this defense.
Owen Zauk out for a 40-yard field goal. It was 5 of 6 on field goals from 40 to 49 last season, along of 47. To make this a 24-0 game. Snap the spot. Zauk's kick is up. And through the uprights. Dartmouth takes a 24-0 lead. And it takes us to our 2-minute timeout here at Memorial Field. Dartmouth up by 4 scores right now. Or actually, technically 3 scores. Sorry.
3 scores, 24 points. I mean, that's all you wanted from the Dartmouth offense right now. Passing the ball, not what we expected. We mentioned, Lou, no one really knows what to expect from this Dartmouth offense coming out. It seems to be a lot different from last season, putting a lot more faith into Proctor, and he's showing that that's going to work for them this season here today.
Sam Burkle's sack forces a stop to the Dartmouth drive. It takes them outside the red zone, but Zauk still able to convert on the 40-yard field goal. Fordham staring down a 24-0 deficit with just 2 minutes to go in the half. It's Fordham football on WFUV Sports.
How's it going, everyone? Will Talent here, your New York Giants beat reporter for the 2024 season. Follow alongside me at talent_Will on X to catch all of the updates on your New York Football Giants from MetLife Stadium. With rookie sensation Malik Neighbors and big free agent acquisition Brian Burns, WFUV Sports is the place for Big Blue coverage. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Orlando, Evan Harkin, the final 2 minutes of football here in the first half from Memorial Field in New Hampshire. Don't go anywhere. The one-on-one halftime report coming up with Angel Ducret and Kurt Sippel. But Evan, as the Rams look at a 24-0 deficit with 2 minutes left to go in the half. I know Coach Conlin always says every week is a new week. Doesn't feel like that right now. It feels like the Rams are in a slide.
Right, it feels like the exact same season we've been watching. It's the exact same specific issues. The offensive line having trouble playing as a unit. The defense having trouble with discipline. I bet the Rams are really hoping that halftime comes as soon as it can so they can make some adjustments in that locker room, come out a little bit different.
Kick away from Weaver, end over end. Hatfield fields it right down the middle at the 4-yard line. Angles out left, past the 15, past the 20, hops past the 25. And tackled down at the 30-yard line.
Great return there from Mason Hatfield. Not taking that touchback, able to get it a few yards past the 25, but ripping through a tackle is kind of what you want your offense to see right now. There hasn't been too much to get happy about in terms of ball carriers, so anytime you can really put a performance on, give some momentum to your sideline, good job there by the kick returner.
A minute 53, Fordham has all 3 timeouts, so a chance to get points on the board before halftime. Capaldi in the backfield to the right, or Kaiser in the backfield to the right of Capaldi. Capaldi takes the first down snap. Play action, Capaldi is sacked! Big time play by Josiah Green. Brings him down to 25, a loss of 5, and the first sack of the game for Dartmouth.
Number 0, Josiah Green, a big time player. All Ivy second team last season. Only 1.5 sacks. He'll get 1 right here today. But 46 tackles and 7.5 tackles for loss. Big time player, the best defensive lineman on this unit, showing it right now.
And Evan with a minute 48. It's Dartmouth that's going to call the timeout, and now Dartmouth, after the sack and a 2nd and 15, they're hungry going, hey, can we get the football back and maybe try and score it?
Right, you know you're in a good place as a defense and a really bad place as an offense if you're Fordham. When this is the route they're going to be taking strategically, showing that they think they're just going to force another 3 and out as they have been all day, trying to get that dominant offense back out on the field.
The O-line had done an admirable job in the sense that they hadn't allowed a sack inside 2 minutes here in the first half, but there's the first one. 22 sacks right now, that's the most in the nation. When you look at Fordham last year, they were not great at protecting the quarterback. They allowed 10 sacks in week 1. It got better after that. They finished the season with 29. That was second worst in the Patriot League. Fordham is on pace to shatter that in week 5.
Right, and you only switch out a couple of people from that starting offensive line last year. You mentioned Lucas Portez, the left guard. Duke Leonard will take that spot. And then that right tackle spot's going to be Owen Deutsch right now. It was Nolan Aloya, but you're returning the other members, Evbo Menya, Cody Johnson, Ryan Joyce on that offensive line. They're really preaching that it's about unit play. It's about knowing what the guy next to you is going to be doing. Because even if, let's say, the center makes a good block and the left guard doesn't, that's a blown-up play. The offensive line looks bad as a whole, working on that chemistry still, Lou.
You think back to 2 years ago, Fordham was tops in the Patriot League in sacks allowed. They only allowed 20. And that was Ed Bomenya was there, Ryan Joyce was there, Cody Johnson was on the team starting to work into the rotation. So this is an O-line that just 2 years ago had not just success, they were the hallmark of the Patriots.
And their coach during that year, Alex Hutt, has went off to Old Dominion since then. You wonder if maybe he bought a different coaching style than their typical one they're used to running now, but really trying to find the footing that they had in those past 2 seasons, Lou.
They do credit the timeout to Fordham, so Fordham 2 left with 1:48, a 2nd and 15 from the 25. Ricky Parks enters for the second down snap to the left at Capaldi. He's got a trips right with Cole Thornton, Mekhi Felton, and Matt Buron. Capaldi claps, there's no snap, and now he'll creep up. And the quarterbacks in colored hats will adjust the play. 1:48 left to go in the first half. Capaldi drops back to throw. Looking right, throws middle. Off the hands of Mekhi Felton. Leaping up, able to get his hands on it, couldn't bring it in.
That time the same theme, a wide open receiver, open enough to fit the ball in there for Capaldi, just unable to connect with them. That one a little bit over Mekhi Felton's head.
And that would have been a first down connection and half the distance. 3rd down and 15, 1:43 left in our first half. Same formation for the Rams. Capaldi claps, the linebackers creep up. Looks like Dartmouth sending pressure. Capaldi will flip over, Parks to the left side. Dartmouth sends 5. Capaldi rolling out right, facing pressure. Curls up past the 20, knocked out of bounds. At the 25-yard line, little bit of a late hit, but no flag. Capaldi gets back to the line of scrimmage, and Fordham will be forced to punt after just 20 seconds of game time.
That time Capaldi motioning Ricky Parks to his left. That was a play all by him, not a coaching play, because he saw the pressure coming from the left. Unfortunately, the right side of the line doesn't hold up, so Parks isn't even really able to pick up the pressure that came. It forces Capaldi to the sideline. Another terrible possession for the Fordham offense.
And it leaves Dartmouth with 1:34 to work with and 3 timeouts. Sean Williams, the punt returner, stands at his own 40. Hazlitt boots away from the 15, didn't get off clean. It bounces at the 40 and takes a Dartmouth bounce. Fielded by Ricky Parks at the 48-yard line of Dartmouth. So with 90 seconds more or less to work with, should be very easy for Dartmouth to get into field goal range. The 30 is what they need to get to for Zalks Long.
Yeah, nightmare situation right here for the Rams. You get the ball in under 2 minutes. The other team takes timeouts thinking they're going to be able to stop you right away. They do just that. And then Will Hazlitt, your really good punter, is not able to get all of his foot on the ball. It leads to the punt landing at around midfield. And now Dartmouth got their work cut out for them. 1:26 left at midfield. A definite chance for them to score more points, Lou.
Fordham's biggest deficit of the season so far going into halftime was a 24-3 deficit against Bowling Green. This is 24-0 with Dartmouth looking to add to it. Proctor in the gun. Give left Crother. evades a dive from Jaworski, cuts up past the 50-yard line, and picks up 2 yards on a play that had tackle for a loss written all over it.
Yet again, these backs for the Big Green showing out. Q Jones, that time DJ Crowther, able to evade tacklers, work his way. They just seem to find yards when they're not there today.
2nd down and 8. Dartmouth lets the clock tick under a minute. They've still got all 3 timeouts. Now in Fordham territory at the 49. Play action. Quick throw right side. Scott jukes up past the 40-yard line. Give him the first down. He's tackled at the 38. And now just 8 yards shy of the career long for Zalk.
Starting back, Q Jones over here on the ground on the sideline getting massaged out, so we'll probably see a heavy dose of Crowther going into half.
40 seconds left and ticking. Proctor looks right, dumps it off near side for Crowther. Gets up to the 35 and brought out of bounds by Jackson Barletta, but they'll say the clock keeps rolling. Now, worth noting, the scoreboard has updated, so we were correct. Dartmouth called the timeout after the sack on Fordham's drive. Now they use their second. So they just updated it on the scoreboard. 1 timeout left. They use it to stop the clock here with 32 seconds left. And about 34-yard line, 4 yards shy of Zalk's career long. And who knows, maybe he's grown even a bigger leg now going into his sophomore season.
Right in the perfect situation for Dartmouth here. You don't even really have to throw the ball to the sidelines. There's 32 seconds. You have a timeout. You're just looking for what the defense is giving you, picking and taking it, setting up a better kick for Zalk, and then you'll go into halftime for Dartmouth's sake, hopefully even with a 27, maybe even a 31-point lead if you're able to get 6 here.
Fordham already trails 24-0.
And now fans, please welcome to the field the Dartmouth
has 20 minutes of possession in this game. We're talking 30 minutes of first half, so Fordham only has 10. Dartmouth doubling Fordham in time of possession, and that's another reason why this Fordham defense has struggled outside of some of the lapses. It's the fact that they've been on the football field the whole game.
Yeah, they're getting dominated right now, and it's really not even their fault. It's from the lack of support they've been getting from the offense. That last drive, like you said, Lou, it took 20 seconds. The defense had 20 seconds on that sideline to figure out things they did wrong, to get water, tie their shoes, make substitutions. That is not ideal to come right back out on the field and have to hold an offense that's been pummeling you all day to as little points as possible before half.
Not much to speak of with this Fordham offense. They've only converted 3 first downs today. Dartmouth has 15. And just getting trumped in every category that you can think of. 42 total yards here in the first half. Meanwhile, Dartmouth up near 300 in the first half. I think that tells the story, Evan.
Yeah, that tells the story pretty good. Paints a pretty good picture of what's going on right here in Dartmouth. This offense looking to keep doing what they're doing. Like you said, Lou, not broke, don't fix it. It's probably what they're looking to do here as an offensive unit.
Head coach Sammy McCorkle got the interim tag after Buddy Tevens passed away last September. Quickly got the official job in October of 2023. Led them to the Ivy League title, won Ivy League Coach of the Year, and now in his second season, looking to see where he can take this program. Says he doesn't know what heights we can achieve. 2nd down and 6 from the 34. 32 seconds left. It's Proctor and empty as Crowther motions out wide left. Just 3 on the line for the Rams. Proctor takes the snap, looking right, has some time, scrambles, throws on the run. It's picked off by Niall Perkins at the 15-yard line. And maybe that's what gets the Rams going. What a play by Niall Perkins. Leaps in front of the defender and rips it away from him.
Oh, my goodness. That's about as good as a play as a cornerback can make in a football game. That ball was caught by the big tight end, Niall Perkins, who's not a big guy, 6 foot 180. Flies in after he catches it, doesn't allow him to bring the ball into his body, gets his arms in between that triangle of the receiver and his body, and rips the ball away from him, brings it to the ground. That's his 3rd interception on the season already. What a season so far. What a play by Niall Perkins.
Perkins had 3 interceptions last year, led the team. He's got 3 through 4 weeks of play. I guess 3.5, as we're only through 1/2 of play here in week 4. He leads the Patriot League, and my, is he a special talent. Fordham with 25 seconds and all 3 timeouts, maybe, just maybe, a chance to get points on the board. Play action through the hands of KJ Reed, wide open on the slant route. Can't hold on to it.
Well, KJ Reed, a guy who showed a lot of promise last week, emerged as the Rams' best receiver in that football game. A young guy looking to leave his mark here on this offense here in 2024. Just not able to come up with that one. A good ball by Capaldi, dropped there by Reed.
Bennett Henderson has a good leg, need to get to around the 30. 2nd and 10. Inside give, Ricky Parks, plenty of space. Past the 30, past the 40, shakes one tackle, past midfield, one defender left to beat. Williams catches up to him at the 40-yard line. Fordham will use their first of 3 timeouts to stop the clock with 12 seconds left. After nothing doing in the rushing attack basically all half, Ricky Parks rips off a big one and gets into Dartmouth territory.
I mean, expect the unexpected, I guess, if you're the Dartmouth defense. There was 20 seconds on the clock. The last thing you think of an offense that hasn't been able to run the ball all day with 26 seconds is going to do is run the ball. Great job by that interior offensive line that's been struggling, showing they can get it done when they have to. Letting Ricky Parks have a huge lane, but a good tackle on the other end by number 9, Williams, able to bring him down. Could have been a touchdown if he was able to evade that last hit.
Sean Williams, the only man that stood between Ricky Parks and the end zone. He did catch up to him, but a wide open hole down the middle. A huge 46-yard run for Ricky Parks. Ball on the 38. This is Hatfield in the backfield to the left of Capaldi. Fordham has 2 timeouts and 12 seconds left. Capaldi takes the snap, looking to throw, looks middle, has some time, now forced out right, just 8 seconds left. Sealing his defenders to go deep down the field, just throws it out of bounds with 4 seconds left. At the 38, well, we saw Bennett Henderson in warm-ups connect from about 52. This would be 55. I don't know if you send out the freshman here, and it doesn't look like they will.
Yeah, looking to maybe get a few yards here. Maybe if you can throw the ball to that sideline over there. Ricky Gonzalez has about 10, 15 yards of cushion. Maybe try to get a quick ball out there, have him step out of bounds, Lou. Give Bennett a few extra yards to make this kick. But a good play there by Jack Capaldi, evading the rush, doing what he can, not taking a sack.
And also knowing to get rid of the ball and make sure Fordham has at least one more play to shoot for the end zone. And Fordham with 2 timeouts and just 4 seconds left in the half, they'll use one, see what they can draw up here. And, well, Bennett Henderson is out and swinging his leg, so I don't know if you think if he hit from 52, maybe you think he can get one through the line and hit from 55. That would be something. My gut says they're sending the offense out there for a Hail Mary.
Right, there's really almost no shot Bennett Henderson can drill one from 55. A good kicker in high school, but most of his kicks came from around 40. He'll be stepping up near the ball, Lou. They might give him a shot here. It looks like they will.
Again, Henderson hit from 52 in warm-ups, but warm-ups are quite different from the real thing. Now, this would be something for Bennett Henderson. He's perfect on field goals. They're both inside the 30-yard line, but he does have quite the leg. Connected on 6 field goals from 40-plus in high school. This is from 55. Snap the spot. Kick is up. Does it have the distance? It doesn't. Looked like it missed wide left, and Evan, I think it did have the distance and just missed left of the upright.
Definitely had the distance, Lou. I thought it went in from our angle over here. We're at a bad angle. Ends up going wide left, but good from Bennett Henderson to show that he can at least make one from there if it's on point.
Well, we talked to head coach Joe Conlin at the start of the season. We said, what's the deal with Bennett? We know he's got a pretty good leg. What's his range? And he said, about what we had with Brandon Peskin, who was their kicker last year. His career long was 45. It seems like Henderson's range might be a little longer than that.
Yeah, it might be a little longer. He's been pretty good to start this season. He's 2 for 3 now in field goals. That one a very hard attempt, so can't even chalk that one up to Henderson. 5 for 5 on extra points, 100%. So been doing a good job in the special teams department.
After one half of play, Evan, the Rams faced their largest first half deficit of the season, 24-0. And you don't want to rule anything out. Maybe a little bit of life from the offense at the end there, but a lot that needs to improve.
Right, so much they have to clean up. You almost have to switch game plans, maybe find something new. because that offense is getting absolutely dominated, and it's trickling its way and affecting the defense as well, not giving them enough time to properly come back out and defend the way that they know they can if they are given that time. But, Lou, you have to try to keep that momentum you had after that Niall Perkins interception, huge play, Ricky Parks, a 60-plus yard run at the end. That's what you have to encapsulate. You have to capture that energy and try to bring it with you into this second half.
One half of play through, the Rams trail 24-0 to the reigning Ivy League champions, the Dartmouth Big Green. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one halftime report with Angel Ducret and Kurt Sippel.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome to the Rose Hill Studios here. We have Fordham Rams against Dartmouth Big Green. They're at New Hampshire. It has been an interesting game in the first half, I must say myself. We'll leave the highlights for later in the show, but Kurt Sippel, I'm here with. My name is Angel Ducret. How are you doing watching the game so far?
Fordham has a lot to be improved upon, and I think there's a lot that we can talk about, especially even after listening to these highlights of Dartmouth scores.
There's a lot of things that need to change for the second half. There's a lot of things that I think Fordham needs to improve on. Dartmouth, starting the first game of the season, this is week 4 for Fordham, and we kind of expected some rust. I'm thinking let's get into the highlights first before we kind of break down the first half. To start off scoring, Jackson Proctor threw a dart at Paxton Scott for a 44-yard reception, following a 15-yard penalty by Fordham. It led to a Q Jones 40-yard rushing touchdown as Dartmouth opened the scoring early.
Snap, inside give, Q Jones, plenty of space, starts outside the 35, 30, 25, 20, has a lane, inside the 10, inside the end zone. Touchdown, Q Jones, 40 yards to the house, and Dartmouth 2 plays there on the board.
After a Fordham punt, Dartmouth stormed down the field as Jackson Proctor found Q Jones again for a 19-yard reception in the end zone and his second touchdown of the day, putting the Big Green up by 2 scores after 1 quarter of play.
First and 10 from the 19. Scott comes across to the right side, 25 seconds left. Play action, Proctor rolls right, looks left, has a wide open man, Q Jones at the 5, into the end zone, touchdown Dartmouth.
On the first drive of the second quarter, Jackson Proctor took the Big Green down the field and found Chris Corbo for a 12-yard touchdown, extending the lead against the Rams by 3 scores.
Referees after review rule touchdown Chris Corbo, and Dartmouth leads 20-0. With 10:01 left to play in the first half. Fordham Rams just feels like nothing going right.
Following the 3 scores, Dartmouth added a score with a 40-yard field goal. Before that, they tried to go for another scoring touchdown, but Nahil Perkins picks off Jackson Proctor in the red zone. However, to end off the first half, Bennett Henderson missed a 56-yard field goal, and now the score is 24-0. Dartmouth is up. Now, to break down the scoring, we see the offense, it's 0. The offense hasn't done anything. Before the field goal opportunity, it was punt after punt. And we understand today injuries with CJ Montes and Garrett Cody, 2 big names that are not there for the offense today. And we're relying on Jack Capaldi to pretty much bring some life to the Fordham Rams. Kurt, I know we've kind of talked about this behind the scenes, but what's something you need to see from the offense moving to the second half?
Rushing. Julius Ruffridge hasn't had a snap yet in this game, and we heard Lou and Evan talking about how weird that is for the Fordham Rams, as he's had over 100 yards in rushing the last 3 games. He had 99 against Stony Brook. But over 100 yards. You have rushing yards in comparison, and the 49 that Fordham has now is only from that last drive by Ricky Parks, which had 46. But Fordham is 49 to Dartmouth's 154. We have 9 rushing attempts that have not gone anywhere. And why haven't we seen a snap given to Julius Luffridge yet in this Fordham game?
I don't understand either, because Luffridge has proven to us that he is the somewhat MVP of the offense. He's the guy that, like you said, he's averaging 112 yards rushing, and if you want to add the receiving, he's a 143-yard performer each game. That is your offense. And you clearly show that with the offense not being able to score a touchdown or even a field goal in the first half, you need to get him involved. And for him to not have a snap, you kind of question, what's the motive there? Is he going to see play in the second half? That's there to come. And maybe if he does play, we'll see changes in the Fordham offense. But his backup, Ricky Parks, he's putting a name to himself, especially in the last drive with that 46-yard rushing play to set up the field goal. So that might be a reason. That might be something to go into second half and see that like your rushing is all your offense, and you need to like pick up on that. You look at the receiving, you look at Capaldi and how he's been doing. He's 6 for 16, but it's not great.
That's one of the points I wanted to harp on the most, is that I would not be complaining about this if he's completing passes and the receiving yardages that we were getting was working and bringing us to scoring position. It's not. And having 6 for 16 attempts, why have Fordham's offense not attempted to run the ball yet? And our receiving yards, we have 6 receptions to Dartmouth's 13 receptions. It's just not working in Fordham's effect right now. We have less first downs than Dartmouth, and our possession's even been lower even in this quarter. Last time it was for 15, I believe it was 15-10. Now it's even less, with Dartmouth having possession of the ball for 21 minutes and Fordham having possession for 8 minutes.
That's another issue, is possession of the ball. When Fordham has the ball, nothing's happening. It's punt after punt, especially this game. I know we can go to the last 3 weeks of play, and there's a trend. First half offense is one of the worst. Their team does not know how to score within the first 2 quarters of the game. I'll give them credit. The third quarter has been their best quarter within the first 3 games, and hoping that is the same thing coming into the third quarter after the halftime show. But you have to, if you're Fordham, the defense is not bad. I understand the score is 24-0.
It's not as good as we saw against Stony Brook.
It's not as good, but it's not bad to the point where, like, they're the reason why the score is the score. The offense is letting you down as equally or even worse, right? I mean, there's stats to show, like, there hasn't been a touchdown thrown by Fordham Ram in the last 2 games. So I don't know if it's a matter of you need to rush the ball, a matter of you need to figure out a play call or playbook for Capelli now that you don't have Montes, Capaldi. There's a lot of question marks with this team going into the second half, because dropping this game, going 0-4, I mean, that's not going to be a good look for a team that wants to win the Patriot League and has aspirations to move forward.
Definitely. And I think that even like we're talking about the passing yardages and things like that for Fordham, is that what can be improved when you get back into this game, third quarter. There has to be a change. We heard Evan and Lou talking about this on the broadcast, that they thought that there should be a change to the offensive scheme that Fordham's coming up with, because your defense is good enough where they could stop Dartmouth from scoring. But for Fordham, I think the change has to be in rushing as well as catching the football. Jack Capaldi needs to start completing his passes, and let's say he's had a lot more run because CJ Montes is not in the game, and he's been practicing more for Fordham. At least I believe so.
I would hope so.
Yes, and the offense is prepared for him. So this is a Dartmouth team that was rusty, has not played a game yet this season, a Fordham team that has played 3 games this season, dropped 3, and I would expect them to be more hungry right now, and it does not feel like they're hungry enough to win this game.
There's no energy. I don't see any, like, aspiration to win this game from Fordham right now. Like, let alone it being 0.
I will say that last drive was the come the Rams moment that I needed.
You heard that not only in the broadcasters, but you can kind of hear it, like, they wanted at least that one score to, like, have some hope going into the second half, right? Because a 24-3 game is a lot different than a 24-0 game.
Yes.
You know, that's only a 3-score deficit if you could get that field goal. Now, as the offense continues to struggle, you have to – this is a game of relying on the next man up. I think we've talked about that, right? With Ricky Parks, we don't know what happened with Lutridge right now and what he's doing, why he hasn't snapped. But let's just say that the game continues and he doesn't get one single snap. You're relying on Ricky Parks. You're relying on other rushers. You're relying on other receivers not having Garrett Cody as well. So you need to not only catch the ball, but you need to make the smart plays. You know, you need to kind of like be able to adapt and fall when Dartmouth didn't have many punting opportunities compared to the amount of times they scored. But when they did punt, Fordham didn't take advantage of that. So then that's the issue. When you have a good defensive stop against Dartmouth, you have to capitalize on that moment, because it's going to just end up being another blowout, if Fordham doesn't turn around. I want to get your thoughts more on, offense or defense, but this is a game where, as a Fordham fan, you expected a totally different outcome going into the first half.
And I will say that one highlight for Fordham today is that the O-line feels like it's been a little better for Fordham. There's only been one sack today on Jack Capaldi, which is a good sign that he's having a little bit more time to throw. It's just that the overthrow problem in completing the passes, harping on that again, is just not happening.
I mean, his longest throw is 15 yards. Like, you have to change that. There's nothing.
Throw down the field more. He has the arm. We've seen it.
He has the arm. Throw down the field. Even the short passes, like, you just have to get more completions, and you just have to get the first down. That's another thing that this team struggles with when it comes to getting the first down. When it comes to converting on third down, let me just talk about first down right now. Compared to the opponent, one of the worst first down completions there is in the league.
Well, right now, Fordham has 4 first downs to Dartmouth's 15.
That proves my point. 15-4. Like, you're not – when it comes to third down conversion, before today's game, 20% when it comes down to that aspect. So there definitely has to be some type of, like, play where you can not just – you don't need to worry about the deep pass all the time. You just need to worry about getting the first down. More first downs leads to close to the red zone. Once you get to the red zone, the team has the capability of finding the end zone and scoring. That's not the issue. The issue is just making it to field goal range now.
And just get possession of the ball. Just keep possession. Get longer plays down the field.
And we're not asking for the defense to come up with the fumbles and interceptions every time just to get the ball back quickly. It's just what happened to the 4 and down plays, right? Like, don't allow Dartmouth to extend the play and then eventually get to field goal range or eventually get into the end zone for the 3 scores that they have now plus the field goal. You have to kind of, like, stop them in their tracks, like, stop them within their own yardage, and so you have the opportunity. And before we go into the second half, well, we talked about all the changes on the offense, the defense. I mean, they were able to get the sack to help with the
that helps with motivation. You go into the locker room feeling good.
Right? The sack and interception, I think that's a nice, like, motivator fact for the defense. Like, they're here to do their job. All right, they know what they gotta do. They left 24 points, but they ended off the first half on a good note. And now it's time for the offense to start the second half on a good note.
You come out strong in this half.
You got to send a message. You got to tell Dartmouth that you're here to play.
Yeah. That's what my point was in the beginning, was here come the Rams. And that was the one thing that I said in the beginning, was that interception might be the kick that they needed to get this going.
Yeah.
Cuz why can't Fordham beat Dartmouth?
I don't see
why
they can.
They're pretty much evenly matched.
They are. I mean, I know you had an interesting fact about the last time.
Well, still. But I'm just saying that Fordham and Dartmouth are pretty evenly matched in just everything that they can do.
Yeah.
We're down the QB. CJ Montes is not playing. We've highlighted that already. Garrett Cody's not playing wide receiver today. But it doesn't matter. It's next man up, like you were saying before, and Fordham can come out stronger than they did last half and do better.
Yeah, and I think besides the Stony Brook game, they haven't had a lead in the first half, if I'm mistaken.
Yes, I think that you're right about that.
So,
but you said also the third quarter team stat.
Yeah, the third quarter is their best quarter by far. That they're able to kind of like jumpstart from the third quarter. Fourth quarter is not as best, but if you get a nice start to third and you can keep them at 24, anything can happen in the fourth quarter. But that's going to do it for this halftime show. We're going to send you back to the booth for the second half after a quick break.
Hey, it's Lou Orlando. Alongside Nick Palmer and Will Talent, I'm one of your 3 New York Yankees beat reporters for the 2024 season. The Yanks are looking to surge back to postseason form behind the incredible two-headed monster that is Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. I'll have you covered every step of the way with live updates, on-field interviews, post-game analysis, and more. Follow along on Twitter at SweetLou with 5 U's to keep up with the Bronx Bombers on their chase for 28. WFUV, your home for New York sports.
Hey everyone, it's Fordham football defensive back Niall Perkins. Follow along with our quest for a Patriot League title all season long at WFUV Sports on 90.7 FM or the WFUV Sports YouTube page. WFUV, the flagship station for Fordham football.
The voice of Niall Perkins takes you into half 2 here from Memorial Field, and Niall Perkins, one of the few bright spots for a Fordham Rams team that exits halftime trailing by 24, but it was Niall Perkins' interception, his 3rd of the year, that gave Fordham a chance to get points at the end of half. Bennett Henderson came oh so close to connecting on a 55-yard field goal. He didn't, so the Rams trail by 24, their largest deficit going into the second half. And Evan, the wins and losses the next 2 games probably don't matter a ton in the sense of Fordham is not getting an at-large bid. The only thing that matters for them is conference play, and that starts up on October 5th. But what does matter is that their level of play get built up to a spot where you can take down a Lafayette at the start of conference play, and that's probably, I would say, the goal of this second half and the goal against Monmouth.
Definitely, Lou. It doesn't matter losing these games nearly as much as conference games that matter a lot more to this Fordham Rams team and their goal of winning the Patriot League. But like you said, you want to see progression. You want to see them getting better. You want to have something you can stand on when you walk in to play against Lafayette, who won the title last season, and say, we're here to play. You don't want them just overlooking you, thinking that you're a team that comes in without a win if you end up doing that. So here in the second half, you mentioned Niall Perkins with that interception. What that can do is build some momentum. And even if you can't win this game in the second half, 24 points is a big ask to come back from, especially the way things have been looking in that first half. You want to see them progress, do things better, do the little things right in this second half that they didn't do in the first half, because you can carry that over into future games, maybe games that matter even more.
You hope the final 30 seconds was the spark that carries into the second half, because prior to the 46-yard run from Ricky Parks, Fordham had amassed just 42 yards of total offense. It's now 88 thanks to the run from Ricky Parks. That still pales in comparison to the 306 total yards that Dartmouth has put up through one half of play, lopsided really everywhere you look.
Right, and it hasn't even been Fordham's defense's fault. They've had a few lapses, a few bad touchdowns, some bad plays. There's definitely been a level of difference between these two offenses, but how poorly the Fordham offense has been playing is taking a huge toll on this defense, allowing the Big Green to just dominate this game. Like you said, with Capaldi in that backfield, the second-string quarterback for this unit coming into the season, the offensive line that struggled, probably been the worst in the FCS at protecting a quarterback. They have to get Ricky Parks in this run game going, maybe dinking the ball off to him a little bit in the screen pass game, but you really have to get things going north and south with your running backs if you want a chance on offense here.
Well, credit where credit is due when we talk about Dartmouth, that they've been a powerhouse really the last decade plus. They've won 3 of the last 4 Ivy League titles, 2019, 2021, 2023. There was no season in 2020 due to COVID, and they did not win in 2022. They went 70-30 from 2010 to 2019. An impressive record that was 10th best in the nation across FBS, FCS. So Dartmouth has been a strong program. A lot of that winning was done under Buddy Tevens, who was their all-time winningest coach. Now it's Sammy McCorkle following the tragic passing of Coach Tevens. But this is a program that, as Coach Conlin said, they know what to do and they do it soundly.
Absolutely. Ivy League champs back in 2023. But Sammy McCorkle, the head coach of this team, said that, quote-unquote, what you did last year does not matter. This is a whole new season for them. They're not looking to just do what they did last season. They want even more. They want to be the solo winners of that Ivy League championship. 4-1 at home in 2023. They're showing that when they're playing here in New Hampshire, it's a different ball game. You're playing a different team, doing it again this season. And he said last season was an emotional roller coaster, but it allowed them to learn how to adjust and improvise. You're seeing a lot of adjusting and improvising, taking that offense to the next level here in the 2024 season so far.
They've put on a show for the home fans at Memorial Field. This is a little pooch kick. The ball is loose. It will be picked up by the Rams. Dartmouth was the first team to make contact with it. Almost a little onside kick, if you will. But Dartmouth looks like touched the ball before it traveled 10 yards.
Right, the flag comes right here next to the Dartmouth player that jumped at that ball. But I cannot believe they went for an onside kick after half right here, Lou. Up 24-0. Very peculiar coaching decision there. Kind of disrespectful to the Fordham special teams unit and team as a whole to go for that.
Looks like they were trying to pile on.
Kicking team, 15-yard penalty from the spot of foul. First down, Fordham.
It's a 15-yard penalty, so Dartmouth is trying to get the ball back right at the halftime and put all the momentum in their favor. Instead, they give Fordham a first snap in their territory. It will be at the 35-yard line for the Big Green. This Fordham offense that has really struggled to do anything, as we said, outside of that final drive, the big run from Ricky Parks. They have a chance to get points on the board here, and at the 35-yard line of Dartmouth.
Yeah, questionable decision from Dartmouth, seeming to stab them in the back so far. That's a 15-yard penalty. Fordham gets the ball in the best field position they've had all game due to Dartmouth just trying to add on more points.
The Patriot League's leading rusher, Julius Luffridge, did not take a snap in the first half. It's Ricky Parks to the right of Capaldi. Delay give. Ricky Parks lowers the shoulder and drives into the pile. Maybe picks up one at the 34.
Nothing really going there. It shows the same theme we saw going into half of this defensive line, this front four for the Big Green, just dominating up front, not allowing holes and causing pressure in the backfield.
30 seconds into our third quarter. They say a gain of a half yard. Second down and 10. The Rams trail by 24, looking to get their first points on the board. Play action. Capaldi steps up and is ripped down. Braden Mullen gets his first sack of the season. Back at the 38-yard line, a loss of 5.
Great play by Mullen, and really just that front four as a unit. Everybody seemingly defeating the block in front of them. Capaldi nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Everyone's around him. He gets taken down for the sack.
At the 38, this would be a 55-yarder for Bennett Henderson. Capaldi claps. A little bit of a flinch. Adam, you think it's going against the defense?
I think it's going to be defensive.
Defense number 0. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Offsides against Josiah Green. Gifts Fordham 5 yards. Makes it, as they move the marker up, 3rd and 8. And at the 33-yard line would be a little bit of an easier kick for Bennett Henderson, but Fordham hoping for the first down to keep this drive going.
Good job there by the center, Cody Johnson, reaching out and slapping the arm of Josiah Green as he went offsides. He's able to come back if Cody Johnson doesn't do that.
3rd and 8, Hatfield to the right of Capaldi, trips right. Just 3 on the line for Dartmouth. And they send 4. They give to Hatfield, wide open hole, inside the red zone, inside the 10. He's tripped up at the 5-yard line, but it's a first down for the Rams, and they get their first red zone snaps.
Wow, Mason Hatfield finding a hole. One of those running backs that's typically just a kick returner, a punt returner, not usually seen in this backfield. But as you said, Lou, no Julius Luffridge in that first half. They're switching to different options, and it's working with Hatfield.
Hatfield landed at the 5. They'll rule him down at the 8, though. 1st and goal from the 8, trips right. Give left, Hatfield looking to take it off left tackle. Cuts up at the 10-yard line. Tackled at the line of scrimmage. And a flag flies from our near judge.
Really hope that's not a holding on Fordham for their offense's sake right now. That would be detrimental, but a lot of cornerback signaling that's what it's going to be.
Holding on the offense, that's the left tackle, David Ebomenya, and with the run going off of left tackle. It's a penalty that moves them back 10.
Yeah, moves them back after probably their best offensive play of the game. Mason Hatfield cutting through the defense, finding a hole, getting the first down and way more, and then you have a negative play that backs that up, sets you behind the chains. Just bad ball from the Fordham offense right there.
12:40 left in the third quarter. 1st and goal from the 18. A lot of work for the Rams to do now. Capaldi in the gun, Parks to his left. 3-receiver tight end set. Halfback draw with Parks, spins off one tackle, goes into the teeth of the defense, and drives up to the 15. Gain of 3.
Ricky Parks trying to be patient there, looking around in the backfield, stepping around for as long as he could. Just absolutely nowhere for him to run, as it has been pretty much all game, besides the one big one he was able to break off towards the end of the first half.
12:05 left in the early going of our third quarter. Capaldi has trips right on this 2nd and 15. Snap, Capaldi looking to throw, looks middle, facing pressure, throws off the back foot, wobbly ball, jump ball for Jaden Allen, incomplete. Excellent defense on that far side. Allen slow to get up.
John Williams and Patrick Campbell.
And then the tight end's able to get up there. Would have been a pretty completion if it was able to happen. Maybe a little bit too much time on that ball from Capaldi. It was in the air for a while, but his target was wide open in the end zone. The amount of time it took the ball to find his target allows all different cornerbacks to come make a play on the ball.
Fordham takes an end zone shot on 2nd down. As you said, Evan, the ball hangs up a little too long. 3rd down and 15. 11:50 left to go in the 3rd. Capaldi the snap. Play action, looking to throw. Throws middle. No, he's brought down at the 21-yard line. This defense gets another sack.
From Cameron Lee for another loss for Fordham. 4th down.
Cameron Lee from the 2nd level brings down Capaldi. This is Bennett Henderson forced to come out here for the field goal attempt.
That time, Lee doing a good job of blitzing, coming in with a disguised blitz. They haven't even really needed to do that to show pressure on Capaldi, but that time bringing him down.
It'd be a 38-yarder for Bennett Henderson. 2 for 3 on field goals. His only miss from 55. Snap, the spot, it's blocked! Picked up by Jordan Washington. No one in front of him. 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Dartmouth! A field goal block return for the score! Big Green up 30 with 10:56 to go in the 3rd.
And that's what good teams do when they're up. They do not fall asleep. They keep their foot on the gas coming out of halftime. You would think it would just be a field goal right there. Wouldn't be too big of a deal for this Dartmouth team to come back on the field and score again, but nope. They want even more. They want more points. They showed you with their attempt to even get that onside kick. They'll return that all the way for a touchdown. Great play by the Dartmouth special teams unit.
Fordham not able to punish Dartmouth for the onside kick miscue. Jordan Washington blocks the kick and takes it all the way for a score. Salk perfect on extra points. Here's his 4th. Kick up and good. Dartmouth, a 31-0 lead with 10:56 left in the 3rd. For Bennett Henderson, had been perfect on field goals entering today. That would have been his career long after narrowly missing from 55. And the all-conference Jordan Washington, one of the best secondary, one of the best quarterbacks in the Ivy League, coming off the edge, and no chance there for Henderson to get that kick up.
And you wonder what specifically was the issue for the Rams there on that field goal attempt. There are a lot of different things that can go wrong in that operation. There's a certain amount of time that the snap, hold, and kick is supposed to happen under, which doesn't allow free blockers to come in unblocked and block that kick. If the snap, hold, and kick was longer than expected, maybe a free blocker was able to get back there. That could be on any 3 of those position players. It could be on the offensive lineman blocking out there, maybe a missed assignment. Either way, nightmare situation for the Rams to give that up right there. Really hard to find momentum and energy in this game at this point, down 31-0 after a crucial game-changing play.
And especially, Evan, you are gifted possession at the 35. And this year, it has not been the total number of penalties as it was last year. Last year, they got penalized all the time. This year, it's been the timeliness of the penalties. You take a holding penalty on 1st and goal from the 8. Now it's 1st and goal from the 18. You're taking deep shots for the end zone. It's an offense that's really struggled to do anything inside the red zone. So you make their job and their lives that much more difficult. And then you force a freshman to kick a 39-yarder and he gets his kick blocked.
Absolutely, Lou. The last thing you need is to shoot yourself in the foot when you're already having trouble finding your footing as an offense, just stabbing yourself in the back after bad plays, after Dartmouth, like you said, even gave you that really good field possession. A tricky, probably a poor decision from their coaching staff, but it works out in their favor either way. The Big Green just dominating on every single front of this game.
Special teams. Fordham's been on the wrong side of a couple special teams highlights. Their season started with a 100-yard kick return touchdown by Bowling Green. Now they've allowed a field goal block return for a score. Fordham's been on the wrong side of these highlights too many times for their liking.
Absolutely, and when you are a team that struggles offensively, you need to play well on special teams. You need to do the little things right, set up your offense in good spots, take 3 points when the defense gives it to you. Unable to do the little things right leads to this offense being shut out here in the third quarter.
Offense poised to get the ball back after this kickoff, and we'll see if Weaver tries any funky business this time. Charges, puts his all into it. End over end to the far side 2-yard line. Hatfield angles near side, hesitates and stops at the 15, cuts up past the 21. Brought down right there after a pretty move, but ultimately held to just 6 yards after that move.
Right, not a great return, even though a pretty move right there. This offense couldn't really do anything with great field position, so it's hard to expect them to do anything with not too good field position here, starting within their own 25, Lou.
Capaldi trots back out there. Mackay Felton in the formation. Cole Thornton as well, noting Tracy, the lone receiver on the near side. Fordham getting some run to their young trio of sophomore wideouts. Hatfield sidecar right at Capaldi. 10:48 left to go in the third. Rams now trail by 31. Near side give, Hatfield eyeing off left tackle. Tackle down at the 21-yard line. No gain.
Great job by this Dartmouth defense coming up and making the hit right there. That's Harrison Keith. Didn't really play in 2023, but head coach McCorkle said that he's an athletic kid, a very smart football player who moves well, shows it right there, blows up the running back.
2nd down 11 as they rule the Hatfield carry a loss of 1. Capaldi, delay give to Hatfield, cuts outside the hash, is still up, but tackled shy of the 20-yard line. Hatfield looking to make that play big and instead brought down for a loss of 3.
Really what you're seeing here is Dartmouth just dominating the trenches, especially defensively. They have the initial push on the Fordham offensive line. There's nowhere for backs to go except for east to west, and that's causing negative plays.
Twin wideouts either side for 3rd and 13. Clock ticks under 10 minutes here in the third. It's a sparse crowd here for the Dartmouth home opener, but those that are here have been treated to a show. Capaldi drops back to throw, forced out by the pressure. Running on the run, finds the connection with Cole Thornton along the sideline at the 30-yard line. Gets the feed in, 4 yards shy of the first. Head coach Joe Conlin will not elect to go for it.
Yeah, they'll send out the punt. You didn't hear. It's definitely a question of whether you go for it now at this point in the game, but with this terrible field position, you'd be gifting Dartmouth points anyway, as your defense really has had trouble stopping them in the first place.
It's not been much to write home about the Fordham offense. They are shut out now 5 minutes into the second half. It's been a tough watch. Hazlitt at the 15, line drive punt. Wobbles to the 33, rolls the way Fordham wants it to roll inside the 20. Perkins downs it at the 14. If you're looking for bright spots, I feel like we say this every week, Will Hazlitt.
There it is again, another, not even a good punt, an outstanding punt from Will Hazlitt. He gets the ball around his own 20-yard line, flips the field. Dartmouth will have the ball inside their own 20-yard line or right around it right here. The refs will spot it just inside of the 15. You cannot flip the field better than that. Great job by the quote-unquote from Joe Conlin, best punter in the Patriot League.
His third punt today of 50-plus yards, his second that goes inside the 20. Living up to that moniker given to him by head coach Joe Conlin. First look at the Dartmouth offense with 8:49 left to go in the third. Proctor in the gun, Hugh Jones to his left. This is the give to Jones, met quickly by that defensive line, and no gain.
No gain there. Q Jones back in the game. That's going to be his first touch since he came off of the field and was getting rubbed out. A massage gun done on his leg on the sideline. Seems to be all good back in that backfield right now for Dartmouth.
Evan, worth noting, the quarterback right now is not Jackson Proctor. It's the sophomore Woods Ray, potentially looking to get their backup some reps with a 31-0 lead. Well, Ray motions Jones back into the backfield. He's got his wide receivers tight. Motion across by Richards Baker. 8:05 left to go in the third. Snap. It looked a little funky, and I think we're going to get a false start here.
Should be a false start here on multiple wide receivers.
Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty.
They'll call it on Fashawn Washington. I think that's one of those plays where you have a handful of guys to pick from.
Usually that's a quarterback issue, an issue with the center right there. If all the different guys are thinking the cadence is something else. Could be an issue with Woodsray coming in. You know, he hasn't been playing in this game. I'm interested to see, Lou, if they're really just giving him the spotlight here up 31-0, or if they're going back to their ways of last season of trying to play two quarterbacks in serious games.
Woodsray was listed on the 2 deep as the backup to Proctor, and as Evan mentioned, they have done a dual usage of quarterbacks in years past. Give left for Q Jones. Q Jones looking for space. There's not much. He gets 1 yard after the 5-yard false start to move them up about the 10 or about the 11 or the 12-yard line. Still sets up 3rd and long.
Some background on number 13, Woods Ray. He's from Homewood, Alabama, and his father was actually the Cotton Bowl MVP as an Alabama quarterback, so comes from some good football roots.
We'll hit on those football roots in just a second. He's got some pretty cool ties. It's Woods Ray in the gun for 3rd and 14. Jones to his right. 3-receiver tight end set. Snap. Inside give again to Jones. Jukes out of a tackle at the 15. Won't get much more. Brought down at the 17. And that should force Davis Golick out. So Woods Ray gets to take some snaps. Really only handoff duties on that drive as they run it with Q Jones.
Yeah, only really just handing the ball off there for Woods. We'll see if he comes back out afterwards. That'll really tell us whether he's in for the game for now or not. But All-State first team in high school, and he won the team's Most Improved Award for his quarterback performances in 2023.
Talking about those football ties, Evan, not only was his uncle, Brody Croyle, the Cotton Bowl MVP for Alabama, he went on to get drafted by the Chiefs and started 10 games for the Chiefs from 2006 to 2010. He's technically their worst starter in franchise history. Punt end over end by Golick, bounces at the 44 and rolls sideways. Down at the 43 of Fordham.
Dartmouth on the punt by Davis Golick.
Still pretty cool to be able to say you've done all that stuff, even if it gets wrapped up as the worst quarterback in Chiefs history. Really good for Woods Ray to have a relative that's gone that far into the NFL, be able to share with him the secrets of the league.
Who can really say that they have relatives that have been in the NFL? It's few and far between us, and his uncle, despite some tough starts with some Chief teams that admittedly were not great in the late 2000s, as before really Alex Smith came around and all that stuff, but a stint with the Cardinals after that, and his dad played baseball in Alabama, so comes from a talented, athletic family, recruited by Dartmouth to come in and join this QB room. And Jackson Proctor is a senior. You wonder if they're molding Woods Ray as the next starter here at this program.
Right, they seem to be wanting to build these guys before they have to start them. Last season, Jackson Proctor really only played in the last few games, wasn't a factor at all, ended up racking up 716 passing yards, and then he takes over, dominates while he played in those first 3 quarters, 2.5 quarters today. So that's a strategy that's been working well for Dartmouth. Seemingly they're doing it with Woods Ray right now, Lou.
And they should feel good about the game that they got, the performance they got from Jackson Proctor. 14 of 18, 1 interception, but 2 touchdowns, 185 yards, and completed passes at a 77.8% rate. That's a pretty good first day for the 2024 season, in your season opener, in your home opener, in front of the home fans, and he's helped them get out to a big-time lead over the Rams.
Right, and head coach Sammy McCorkle, you mentioned it earlier, said, we want to quote-unquote get to that next level, but we don't know what that level is yet. We'll figure it out when we get there. That's being pretty transparent with the audience, letting them know you don't really know how good this team can be, but we'll see. We're going to try as hard as we can, focus on the little things, not focus on an end goal, and see what that end goal comes out to at the end of the season. Right now, they look like a team that's taken it to the next level from last season.
They've got a lot of success to lean back on. You do get the sense that they're not in the business of leaning back on what they've done previously, but the important notion they made was we have a live experience in big games, and that is going to help us moving forward. They said last year's last year, but the experience is the key. That's going to help us have success.
Right, and you're seeing those experienced position groups, the offensive line, stepping up for them.
Capaldi takes over from his own 43. Inside handoff, Ricky Parks chops the feet past the 45. and tackled shy of midfield at 49.
Decent gain there. One of the biggest holes of the day for Ricky Parks, who's very slow to get up. Has to be helped by his offensive lineman. He'll be limping off as Mason Hatfield tracks onto the field to replace him.
6-yard gain for Ricky Parks. 9.5 yards per carry. I think that's very deceptive. A lot of that on the one long run for 46 yards. Hatfield enters, 2 carries, -3 yards. Here it's 2nd and 4. Play action, Capaldi throws middle. He's got a sliding KJ Reed. Got the first down, gets inside the 40-yard line. KJ Reed, 3rd reception of the ball game.
And there it is for Jack Capaldi. We've seen glimpses of that, Lou. Perfect accuracy, firing it on strike, on time, looking like he could be the starter of this team for sure, could lead them to having a good offensive season, just has to keep putting it together.
5:05 left in the third. Fordham just trying to get on the board here, trailing 31-0. Play action, quick throw near side. It's KJ Reed again. Catches at the 35. Forward progress at the 34. So a 4-yard gain.
Seemingly having good chemistry with KJ Reed. They connected on a lot of impressive balls downfield last game. Carrying it over into this one. We'll see what this duo does as this game progresses.
All of Reed's 3 receptions last week came with Capaldi throwing. 2nd and 6. Capaldi can't handle the snap. He picks it back up and will run right up the middle. Lowers his shoulder and actually picks up positive yardage. A successful gain of 3 to set up a 3rd and manageable. They avoid disaster on 2nd down.
Well, the second time today we've seen Capaldi be able to improvise, which is something that CJ Montes is very good at. We didn't know if Capaldi was going to be able to replicate, but doing a good job of seeing broken plays and turning them into positive plays.
Less than 4 minutes to go here in the third. It's a 3rd down and 4. Fordham trying to string together first downs and get back inside the red zone. This time punch one in for a score. They've been held scoreless here in our third quarter. Hatfield to the right of Capaldi. Twin wideouts either side. Capaldi looks right, throws right, sliding grab. Cole Thornton, he made the catch. Oh, a nice grab by Thornton at the 26. It was a very low throw by Capaldi, but he still went down and made the catch.
Cole Thornton, 5 receptions for 63 yards on the season. Give him his 6th right there. Decent ball by Capaldi. He had to put it low. Might have been too low, but his receiver bails him out.
Fresh set of downs. 3:20 to go in the third. Fordham at the 27. Play action again. Capaldi sits in the pocket, throws near side. It's brought in Matt Buron. Again a first down reception at the 15. It'd be red zone snaps for the Rams, but we've got an injured Big Green player on the far side.
Well, we hope that Big Green player can get up soon, but this Fordham offense touching a new gear here on this drive, Lou. We've talked about how they might want to do some things differently, might want to change something in halftime, in the locker room. They come out, and right now on this drive so far, Jack Capaldi has looked on point, putting balls on the money, on his receiver's chest, letting them move downfield, staying ahead of the chains.
We've ID'd the injured Dartmouth player as the nickelback Tyson Grimm, but off of your point, they believe in Jack Capaldi, and I don't think that it's just coach speak of next man up. We have CJ Montes down, and we need to show faith in our quarterback. This is a guy that Coach Conlin said, heck, he has a better arm than CJ Montes. And he said his big issues are progression, making the right decisions, but this is a guy that they believe has the arm talent to have success at this level. And it's those glimpses on a drive like this that make some of the other struggles so frustrating.
Right. If you were just watching this drive, you would think Fordham's offense was winning this game, and Jack Capaldi was the MVP of the game so far, strictly on this one. And progressions, these things you're mentioning, Lou, that he does struggle with early on, is because maybe he's a backup quarterback. These are things that experience pretty much gives you, knowing the progressions, knowing the defense. So as he keeps going as a starter in this season, we'll see if he can get better at those things.
Reception from Buron has Fordham inside the red zone at the 15. First down and 10. Hatfield the back to the right of Capaldi. Play action, looking left, throws left. Ricky Gonzalez sliding grab at the 5-yard line. Will they give him the first down? It's awfully close. And they will say move the chains. First down, 1st and goal from the 5.
Right there again, Jack Capaldi finding an open receiver, hitting him on the second he breaks off his route. And a really good route by Ricky Gonzalez. He had his receiver lost at around the D in the end zone, caught that ball at around the 5.
The Rams have been held scoreless for 43 minutes of game time. They're looking to crack the scoreboard here. 2:24 to go. trailing 31-0. First and goal from the 5. Play action, Capaldi looks right, dragged down at the 5-yard line. This will technically go as a sack and a loss of 1. Danny Cronin comes in from behind and pulls Capaldi to the ground.
The offensive line's got to play better overall, but especially here in the red zone, Lou. Last drive we saw that a holding penalty stall out the drive, results in a Dartmouth touchdown. This time the offensive line lets someone get right around Capaldi. He did a good job of just holding onto that ball, cocked it back to throw it. Had Mekhi Felton wide open in the end zone, but his arm gets hit while he's trying to throw the ball. A good job of just securing the football there.
Another brief injury timeout, Zach Ferris, cornerback for the Dartmouth Big Green, but maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. He hops right back up to his feet and good to go. So he should resume play shortly. 2nd and 6, so 2nd and goal from the 6. And you said open receiver in the end zone here. Capaldi looking to find him.
Looking to find him and seemingly found him quick enough, just didn't have the time allowed from the offensive line to execute the play. It's on them here in the red zone to step it up a little bit, allow the offense to get 6.
2nd and goal from the 6. Kaiser sidecar right. Inside give, Kaiser gets inside the 5, lowering the shoulder, eyeing the end zone, reaches for it. He's just short. A late flag comes from the back judge. Kaiser's ruled down inside the 1-yard line. Fordham ran the doorstep. We'll see what the flag is.
Both flags coming on the tackle. Interesting to see if this will be on the defense.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 33. After this into the goal, automatic first down.
A face mask by Danny Cronin. It's half the distance to the goal, so that's half a yard. But more importantly, it gives Fordham a fresh set of downs, so they'll have 4 tries realistically to punch home 1st and inches.
Right. Do you go with the QB sneak here, hand it off to Jack Kaiser? He's a pretty good goal line back, good at falling forward. We'll see what they go with here.
Dartmouth stacks the box. Capaldi in the gun. Kaiser to his right. Snap. Inside give, Kaiser bursting into the end zone. Touchdown, Fordham. Fordham gets on the scoreboard, and it's Jack Kaiser's first of the season. Fordham has something to show for the drive.
A good 2 runs at the end to cap it off by Kaiser, the guy you need around the red zone. He'll barrel through a couple tackles and fall forward into that end zone, but what a drive by the Fordham offense. Uncharacteristic to anything they've done today, and quite frankly, anything they've done all season. The quarterback had time to find open receivers and put it on the money as they charged down the field, stayed ahead of the chains, didn't commit penalties. Flawless drive from the Fordham Rams. We'll see if they can start putting them together.
10 plays, 57 yards, and their first touchdown. Henderson's extra point is good. Fordham gets 7 on the board. They trail 31-7 with 1:23 left in the third, so not sure that a comeback is in the works. But Evan, what we talked about, you want to see positive gain, positive progress from this team with conference play 2 weeks away. Drives like that instill confidence.
Right, and if you still have a chance to win this game, which you do at this point mathematically, you needed a score there, you needed a momentum-shifting drive. That's exactly what the Doctor order. That's what the Fordham Rams served up. But like you said, Lou, if that just goes to show at the end of the game, even if you don't come out on top, you can look at this drive in the film room and say, okay, guys, what did we do differently here? Because we need to keep doing it throughout the rest of the season. An exemplary play, an exemplary drive for what the Rams should be doing.
The 4-minute and 41-second drive by the Rams, their longest of the game, and that doesn't seem like a huge number, but that's how much they've been going on and off the field, how quickly they've been forced off the field. A 4.5-minute drive is their longest here late in the third.
And we'll see if this defense plays even better than they have been. They haven't been excellent today. They've been good, especially given the circumstances they've had to play under. But now they've had a long break on that sideline. We'll see if they can come out, maybe force a 3-and-out and a turnover, and you could be right back in this ball game if you're the Rams.
Dartmouth scored the first 31 points of this ball game. It was Q Jones early, a 40-yard rushing touchdown, a 19-yard receiving touchdown. Jackson Proctor later found Chris Corbo in the end zone to make it a 3-score game, and then after a field goal, the blocked kick by Jordan Washington taken all the way to the house gave Dartmouth a big lead. Finally, Fordham has something to show on their own side. The 1-yard touchdown run from Jack Kaiser. They're on the board, and more importantly, maybe they have a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, and even though that extra point went through, number 4, Jordan Washington, almost blocked it again. I thought it was going to get blocked. So Fordham definitely going to have to do a better job of protecting him specifically, but Bennett Henderson in total on their kicks throughout the rest of this game if they want a chance. But like you said, they're building momentum here. The defense is going to have to capitalize off it, give the offense the ball back quickly.
There's a minute 23 left in the third quarter, so anything that Fordham does on either side needs to happen quickly. An emphasis here on quick stops, trying to force 3 and outs. Henderson set for the kickoff. 83 seconds left here in the third. Henderson will pooch it at the 16-yard line. The fair catch called by DJ Crother. We'll start this drive from the 25.
Well, like you said, Lou, right now it's about getting off the field quickly if you're the defense. So what do you adjust to get off the field quickly? Well, you really try to get at the quarterback. We'll see if it's Woods-Ray. Interested to see if Proctor comes back out, especially that 7-point drive from the Rams should send him back out here as the starter. But for the Rams, you want to send some blitzes, some different looks, maybe some invert coverages. You want to confuse the offense, force them to make a mistake. You want the ball back quickly here. You can't play safe and securely as a defense. You have to attack.
Well, Woods-Ray is back out there. He did not play last year, but he did win the Most Improved Award for the QB room in the spring. Still yet to attempt his first collegiate pass. In the gun on 1st and 25. Inside give to Jones, met right away. This D-line coming up to play, and that's Matt Jaworski.
Matt Jaworski and Andrew Osmond firing from the safety spot. A good job on a double dual tackle right there. Pretty much what it takes to get Q Jones on the ground in this game, and they do it for a no gain.
6th tackle of the day for Matt Jaworski. Again, he's still looking for his first sack, but he's been ultra active on this D-line. Less than a minute to go here from the third. 2nd down and 10. Dartmouth a big 31-7 lead as they let the game clock tick down. 5 seconds left on the play clock. Here's the snap. Ray turns around, hands off left to Jones. Jones once again, no space to work with. And this might go as a loss. Fordham setting the far side edge.
Absolutely right, Lou. They set the edge very good there, not allowing any room on the sideline to get around and get upfield. Just like the offense looking totally different on their drive. The defense showing a different side of them on this one as well.
I think that was Mike Courtney at the bottom of that pile making the tackle. 10 seconds left in the third. Dartmouth will elect to let the clock run out. So Dartmouth makes a statement. They block Bennett Henderson's kick. They take it down for a score, but Fordham responds. On the board finally here in the third. Jack Kaiser's first touchdown of the season. It's 31-7 going into the fourth quarter. Rams trying to get the ball back. Let's send it back to the Rosehill Studios. One-on-one scoreboard update with Kurt Sippel.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
On this first day of fall, we have a great slate of college football games to get into, so let's do it. Marshall College is getting ran off the field by the Ohio State Buckeyes. Your score for that game is 49-14. Buckeyes looking to improve to 3-0 by the end of this game. There's 10 minutes left in this fourth quarter. The NC State Wolfpack are looking for a long ride home. Clemson leading by a score of 59-29. They'll improve to 2-1 if they can stay in this game. There's 7 minutes and 25 left on the game clock in the fourth. Let's shift now to a look at the Patriot League. The Columbia Lions, the bigger cat against the Lafayette Leopards, as Columbia leads 31-21. With the fourth quarter winding down, Columbia is leading. The Princeton Tigers made the trip to Lehigh Valley, facing off against the Lehigh Mountain Hawks. The Lehigh is out in front, 35-20. Cornell stays in state for a matchup against the Colgate Raiders. The score from Andy Carr Stadium sees Colgate leading 34-17 with 3 minutes left in the fourth. Brown visits Georgetown as the Bears keeping it close with Brown ahead by just one score, 20-14, halfway through the third quarter. The Yale Bulldogs are in a battle with the Holy Cross Crusaders, 17-14. Yale is in a neck-and-neck match with the Holy Cross Crusaders with 7 minutes left in the second quarter. And finally, for your Patriot League nightcap, Marist will be taking on Bucknell for the final game slated for 6 p.m. kickoff. With your one-on-one scoreboard, I am Kurt Sippel.
going to appreciate you, Kirk. Orlando, Evan Harkin here at Memorial Field. Fordham versus Dartmouth. We get set up for the fourth quarter. A little bit of an Ivy League week for the Patriot League, as the Ivy League in their season openers across the board. Everyone except Harvard playing a Patriot League opponent. In the Patriot League, everyone except Bucknell playing an Ivy League opponent. And not sure if this makes you feel any better, but the top dogs, the all-consensus top dogs in the Patriot League this year, Lafayette, poised to lose to Columbia 31-20 in the final minute there. Maybe that makes you feel a little bit better. The Ivy League is a tough conference. They've got some great football happening, and Dartmouth poised to be one of the best in that conference. I don't know if you're necessarily conference watching right now if you're the Rams, but that is happening.
Right, you have to be conference watching just a little bit because it does truly matter. You know, in the thick of things, you really want to focus on your team, especially if you're a fan. You want to focus on the Rams. They should be better. They should be winning their games. But, hey, it matters what everyone else is doing as well. You know, the guys with the most wins in the league are going to win it at the end of the season. So seeing other teams maybe drop some momentum, losing to bigger opponents, might be a good thing for this Rams.
We revert our attention to the field, and Evan, on 3rd down and 10, the start of the fourth quarter, the Rams have a chance to come up with a stop here and get the ball back. And we kind of talked about it off air just now. Weird momentum brewing. It's not full-on momentum, but you're sensing a little bit change.
Yeah, you can feel the crowd quieting a little bit after that dominant drive. And now Fordham really looking like they're going to force the 3-and-out they needed. Could be huge for the swing of momentum.
Ray in the gun. Jones to his left. 3rd and 10 from the 25. Goes back to throw. Fires left side. Incomplete. Wanted Daniel Houghton. But right there, the safety, Boogie Owens, with the hit. He's acquitted himself well as a young freshman, and Fordham does force the quick 3-and-out that they wanted.
Boogie Owens, another player who had his career high in tackles last week, showing that he knew the play before it started there. He diagnosed the screen pass, flew in there and blew it up on a massive 3rd down for this football game. That was crucial for Fordham to get the ball back as soon as they can. Couldn't have asked for anything better.
We talked to Niall Perkins in our season preview. He said, we're going to play a lot of freshmen and sophomores in our secondary. Boogie Owens has earned the trust very quickly. Davis Golis jogs right and puts toe to leather. His punt, fair caught by Mason Hatfield at the 28-yard line. He turned the attention to a Fordham offense that just had definitively their best drive of the game. Now they're looking either to top that or just work off of it. The last thing you want to see is the offense revert back to the woes we saw in the first half.
Right, and it all started up front on that last drive. Jack Capaldi had all the time in the world, and we saw how talented he is when he has enough time to do what he can do. Firing the ball on the money to every wide-open receiver pretty much on the field, using different targets, getting the Rams the ball into the end zone. Jack Kaiser capping it off, but it was really the Jack Capaldi show. We'll see if he can carry it over into this drive.
Hatfield in the backfield, Mekhi Felton in the near slot. Play action, Capaldi looks right, throws right. There's Mekhi Felton at the 45. Goes out of bounds at midfield. It's a 25-yard completion. Mekhi Felton in the box score today, his first reception.
Yeah, first reception for Felton. It shouldn't be the last or the last of the season for sure. One of their leading receivers last season, 513 yards. His 8 touchdowns tied for second in terms of receiving in the Patriot League.
He didn't play last week, nursing a hamstring injury, getting limited snaps here, but out for this 3rd down or this fourth quarter drive. He was a flag before the snap. False start offensively. Last thing you want to see after a really successful reception.
Yeah, this has been the Fordham problem, really. Like you said, Lou, not a lot of penalties, timely penalties. You just had a really good play. You were ahead of the chains. You showed maybe you're carrying over what you did last drive, and then a bad false start. We'll see if they can change that up.
Back in their own territory, 1st and 15 from their own 45. Quick throw near side, Cole Thornton. A yard or two shy of midfield, ruled down at the 49 to make it 2nd and 11.
Yeah, short gain there. We hope this line judge official's okay. It looked like he got stepped on by a cleat or two maybe, and all the commotion by the sideline. He hobbles off, walking around, trying to get him working again.
Capaldi in the gun for 2nd and 11. The clock frozen at 14:04 as we await the ref signal. Rams looking to work a second successful drive. They're going to move the football back now. Not really sure I guess they're going to walk it out again. I'm not really sure what's happening here, Evan.
Some odd things going on here. We saw the referee get injured. He's all good, but moving the ball back and forth, they'll finally spot it.
Looks like they've taken away the yardage from the Cole Thornton reception. Play action. Capaldi looking left, throws left. It's Mekhi Felton again, but through his hands. Had the first down. And wide open along the far sideline. That's a drop you just don't see from Mekhi Felton.
No, very uncharacteristic. That's a really big drop. You needed that. You need to catch the balls that Jack Capaldi's putting on the money. Expect Mekhi Felton to make some crazy catches this season. He wishes he could have that one back and make a move. He could have scored, but it'll be 3rd and long. Capaldi going to try to replicate exactly what he just did. A beautiful pass on 2nd and long on that last play.
3rd down and 14. Ball in the near hash. Capaldi has 3 receivers out left. Dartmouth sends 4. Capaldi looks left, has time, throws middle, was hit as he throws. It falls harmlessly incomplete. I think they got a piece of his arm there as he went to throw.
Yeah, some serious pressure there from the defensive line, which has been doing just that all game, forcing Capaldi to throw a bad ball. Now it's going to be 4th down.
With 13:46 left in the 4th quarter, Rams are going to go for it here. 4th and 14. Their own 46. Trips left. Capaldi takes the snap. Dartmouth sends 4. Capaldi looks left, throws middle, over the head of Jaden Allen. No flags. And Dartmouth will take over in Fordham territory.
Well, he had the big tight end, number 88, Jaden Allen. He wasn't too open. There was a gap. It would have had to have been a beautiful ball downfield. They were just behind the chains on that drive. You can't expect to make spectacular plays on 4th and long to win this football game. You got to really catch the ball on that 2nd down to keep moving the chains here. Just some costly mistakes from this Fordham offense at times.
And that, I think, is what makes the conversation about the offensive struggles so interesting. Through the first 3 games, I think clearly the biggest culprit was the O-line. And you get the sense if Montes had more time to throw, that offense would have a little bit more success. But you can't look past the fact that there's been a lot of drops this season. There have been some poor decisions by the quarterbacks. There have been some ill-timed penalties. It's a lot of things culminating in why this offense has averaged 13 points a game through 3 games.
Right, the offensive line played very well there, except for maybe the last play or 2. But in the plays where they're playing well, they said it's a unit thing for them. It's a unit thing for the offense as a whole, too. It stretches bigger than just the 5 guys on the offensive line having to work together. They have to work together well with the other players on the field, the 6 other guys involved in the offense.
Coach Conlin said to us before the game, we're not going to really be able to win games if we're keeping our defense out there so long, if we're not protecting the quarterback. They've improved in some regards. The time of possession has actually been in favor of Fordham in the second half. Dartmouth still has the advantage, 26 minutes to 20 and a half minutes for Fordham, but it's been a better gap than it was last week. And as I said, only 1 sack allowed today. The O-line's held up better. That doesn't mean that it's fixed all their problems.
Right, there's definitely still problems. I mean, there's some things you can look at. There wasn't a lot of Josiah Green, a lot of Quinonez. They weren't very much starters in on that defensive line in that drive where Fordham performed really well. Despite them performing well, these are still Division I football players if they're backups. But seemingly Dartmouth's taking their foot off the gas just a little bit. They've only run the ball on the offensive side coming out of halftime, so really not even posing the threat to pass the ball, allowing Fordham to play a lot easier on defense, seemingly just working this clock. So you have to take everything Fordham's doing well with a little grain of salt here, Lou.
13:40 left in the 4th. Fordham has their starting defensive group out there at every level. Woods, Ray in the gun for Dartmouth, empty formation. Now Crother motions to the backfield and a pistol right behind Ray. Snap, Ray turns around, hands off left for Crother, breaks 2 tackles, has a huge hole, past the 30, the 20, defenders chasing him, they knock him out of bounds. Did he cross the goal line? He did! What a run by DJ Crother! Takes it 45 yards to the house. A great run by the junior, and Dartmouth piling it on.
Well, TJ Crowther making me eat my words right there. I guess he heard me say that they took their foot off the gas. and said, nope, we're actually flooring the pedal right now. They're going to fly in for the touchdown. And he truly hit a second gear there. He evaded the first wave of defenders, but then there was a second that all seemed to have an angle on Crowther. He's able to just use pure speed up that sideline, beat that angle, fall forwards into the end zone. Great play by him. Mostly him doing that, but good from the offense as a whole from the Big Green.
We talked coming into this week that Fordham allowing 33 points a game. That was a little deceiving. We felt they had played a little bit better. I think this is one where the defense has had a lot of lapses today. 37 points right now, pretty spot on. Extra point from Zalk. Perfect through the uprights.
Zalk with another extra point. It's Dartmouth
38-7 is the Dartmouth lead. They're up by 31 with 13 and a half to go in the fourth.
Well, if you didn't take your foot off the gas already, now might be the time where you feel comfortable enough to do that, Lou. They pretty much put this game a little out of reach at that point. Just been dominating in the rushing attack, showing you that you can't tackle them or their running back specifically with only one defender. Serious problem for the Fordham defense if you have to rally multiple guys just to bring down a ball carrier.
Evan, take me into the minds of these guys. You were on this team for a couple of years. Know a lot of the guys on the sideline. I know that you're kind of able to say, hey, let's lock in on the start of conference play in a couple of weeks, but it can't be easy to take a beating every week, and very much looking like they're going to fall into 0-4. It is not easy for your mental, especially when you have to go out every day after the game and prep for the next one and tell yourselves that you can be in that game. The results don't really say so.
Right, very mentally challenging, as you said, but these are very mentally strong guys on that sideline. They've been through a lot. They go through training on mental toughness on purpose for situations like this because you have to be able to focus on right now in the moment. I know you talked about conference play, how they're kind of might be saving it for conference play a little bit, but just right now on that sideline, you also, besides that, have to be thinking, this is still a football game. I still have a chance to go out there and put good plays on film, make the team better in the future.
Kickoff away from Weaver, end over end to Hatfield. The near side one, cuts outside the near numbers. A flag comes from the near judge. Hatfield's knocked out of bounds at the 24.
Decent return there from Hatfield. We'll see where this flag is. It came from the back judge behind Mason Hatfield.
During the return, hold it. Receiving team number 98. 10-yard penalty. First down.
It'll be a holding on Colby Spencer. That diminishes what was a decent return by Mason Hatfield. Got up to about the touchdown marker there, or the touchback marker. Now they'll be inside the 20.
Another poor penalty there, Lou. You know, it's not too crucial. We were talking about timely penalties, but you really want to see on special teams you be able to put it together, at least not commit penalties, have the ball around touchback range, around the 25. They're way far from that at the 10-yard line.
They'll be trapped inside their own 10-yard line. Capaldi in the gun. Kaiser offset left. Three-receiver tight end set. Inside give. Kaiser takes a hop and is met in the backfield. Gets back to the line of scrimmage, but that line not budging.
No, not budging at all, no matter who's really in there. For the Big Green, their defensive line is going to put on a show and stand for that unit. Impressive to see. We'll probably see a lot more of Jack Kaiser here as the game goes on.
Even 13 minutes left to go. Capaldi looks right, fires right. It's KJ Reed a couple yards ahead of the line of scrimmage. Quick, short reception sets up third and long.
And one thing you can do here in a game that's decision might already be made is build chemistry with receivers as a quarterback. Your main guy for now, KJ Reed, you want to keep getting on the money with him, getting on point. So they're going to keep doing that as an offense, trying to build for the future.
Reed, a team-leading 5th reception. Capaldi, an empty, claps, draws a flinch, no flag. Kaiser had motioned out, and now he goes back into the backfield. 3rd and 7 on the 13. 5 seconds left on the play clock. Capaldi takes the snap, play action, looking left, throws middle, just out of the reach. A KJ Reed, not a super accurate ball there by Capaldi. And that should force Haslett and the punting unit out.
Yeah, that time Capaldi got lit up. You never want to see a quarterback get hit like that. That's the type of way they try to protect them nowadays, because in that throwing position, you're really exposed. Your entire body's exposed by a lot bigger defensive linemen to give you a big lick. That's why the offensive line is so important in defending quarterbacks unable to do it on that drive.
Will Hazlitt stands on the goal line of his own end zone. Paxton Scott at midfield. Long snap. Hazlitt gets the punt away. Not a ton of strength behind it. It bounces at his own 46. Takes the Fordham roll inside the Dartmouth 40 and comes to a stop at the 36-yard line.
36, first down, Big Green.
Now the Fordham defense coming back out. They're going to try to do the same thing as the offense, just putting good plays on film. Maybe some guys that typically don't play as much are going to get a chance to get out there and show these coaches what they can do in a game situation.
It's a Fordham defense that's allowed 38 points. Still 11:55 to go in the fourth quarter. This game very much out of reach. A defeated and deflated Fordham sideline will do their best to lock in and fight for the remaining 12 minutes of this game. You wonder, on the Dartmouth side, they already have their backup quarterback, Woods Ray, in. Do they file in some of their second unit guys for their home opener with the game out of reach?
You would have to think so. I wouldn't expect Paxton Scott to be back out on the field. You know, at least your big name starters that have a secured spot, that have already solidified themselves here at Dartmouth. You shouldn't see them in a game that's pretty much decided at this point. But a good chance, like you said, Lou, for these younger guys, show out for the fans, show out for the team, and prove what they can do.
Dartmouth has pretty high hopes this season. They're going for back-to-back Ivy League championships. They got stake in a three-way tie for the Ivy League title last year. And they're looking to separate themselves from the pack even more this season, second year under Sammy McCorkle, the reigning Ivy League Coach of the Year. Talk to Coach Conlin a little bit. Coach Conlin has a lot of experience in the Ivy League, spent 6 seasons at Yale as an O-line coach and then later an offensive coordinator. When he came to Fordham, he brought over a couple coordinators, Arta Celta, Kevin Decker, who you played under when you were a wide receiver here. But Coach Conlin talked about Dartmouth, gave credit to Don Dobes, their DC, and just said, it's not super flashy, but they play hard, they're physical, they're sound, they're always in the right spot. He gave credit to them offensively and defensively for their attention to detail. I think you see why he has so much respect for Dartmouth.
Right, for Dartmouth and for the Ivy League as a whole, Lou. It's a really special league. We mentioned when we were prepping for this game, there's not a lot of transfers, and that just doesn't really happen in the Ivy League. It's different from every other league in that aspect where everyone pretty much stays at their respective school until they're done with college football, which is really cool in a culture and a college football game of today where everyone's moving schools every single season. You never know what a team is going to look like. It's pretty cool to have that traditional old style play of college football culture that they play in the Ivy, especially at Dartmouth, where they have this atmosphere and culture of running the ball, playing good defense, hard-nosed football players, showing out and showing it today.
Dartmouth was a powerhouse when Conlin was with Yale, and as a coordinator with Yale, Conlin went 1-5 against Dartmouth in his career. Now looks like he'll go 0-1 against Dartmouth in his head coaching career. First matchup between Fordham and Dartmouth since 1997. They played 5 straight times, in the 90s. No, it was 4 straight times in the 90s. And then they played once in 1951. That's Fordham's lone win. Looks like that's going to stay for now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they'll be tapping that feet.
This is a handoff. Going to Colin O'Garo, takes it off right tackle. Gets up, gain of 1.
For Destin Jackson for the Big Green. Gains a yard.
Subbed out Woods Ray at quarterback. This is Grayson Saunier, sophomore quarterback from Lafayette, Louisiana. Won the Offensive Scout Award last season, so Dartmouth really going into their reserves here. Saunier in the gun, Desmond Jackson in the backfield. 2 receiver, 2 tight end set. 11:15 to go. Saunier takes the snap, gives left to Jackson. Jackson cuts up at the 25 and gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Fordham keeping all their starters on the field here, showing that they're still trying to win this game. You know, you want to keep a competitive atmosphere and spirit here. So that's what the Rams will keep going with here as the clock ticks on in the fourth quarter.
Fordham.
Third down and 10.
3rd and 9.
As Jackson comes off. And entering the backfield is Christian Benson. Fordham looking for a 3rd down stop, get the ball back to their offense, maybe get them another drive or two before this one's all over. Dartmouth up 38-7, 3rd and 10 from their own 26. This is the give to Benson, cuts up the B gap, tackled shy of the 30-yard line, and that will force the punting unit back out there.
What you wanted to see from the Fordham defense, despite if they're playing a second or third unit or not, you had to get off the field there, you had to make it a 3 and out, all you could have asked on that particular drive.
Defense manages to get Dartmouth quickly off the field. And Evan, I know we're now talking about third stringers, reserves on this Dartmouth team, but I think what's frustrating with the Fordham defensive effort is there were spurts throughout this game where they had phenomenal 3 and outs or defensive stops, and then the lapses were so glaring.
Right, they were typically pretty good. It was really just glimpses of them playing badly as they played good as a whole, just had some few plays where they let up big touchdowns from far yardage.
Davis Golick's punt bounces at the 35. Hatfield lets it roll down at the 20-yard line. Strong punt by Golick.
20-yard line.
See, it looks like Jack Capaldi will come back out here to lead this Fordham offense.
That looks like the starting offensive line along with them, starting receivers, so we'll see if they can finally get some connections going, build some chemistry, especially here against some players that typically won't be on the field for Dartmouth as the season progresses.
Backups in defensively for Dartmouth. Fordham has their starters out. Mackay Felton in the near slot. Capaldi in the gun. It's got Hatfield sidecar right. Snap play action. Capaldi looks right, floats along the sideline, dropped by Cole Thornton. And that's another one wide open, but Thornton takes his eyes off of it.
Yeah, you mentioned the drops, Lou. They really have been a problem for this Rams receiving unit this year, especially today. That's the second time there would have been a first down. But these Rams receivers are focusing on looking upfield and making a move before securing the catch. You see right there, number 6, Cole Thornton, usually has secure hands, taking his eye off the ball before he can bring it in.
Twin wideouts with 9:20 left to go in the fourth. Play action, Capaldi looks middle, throws middle, Mackay Felton at the 30-yard line. Has the first brought down at the 36-yard line. Felton's second reception of the game.
Good to see one of your leaders in the aerial attack, Mackay Felton, getting things going despite what's going on score-wise.
Fresh set of downs to the 36 and even 9 minutes to play. Play action again. Capaldi looking deep, goes deep near side. Incomplete, bobbled by Cole Thornton. Looked like it hit off his shoulder pad first. Still had a chance to grab it. Tight coverage along the sideline by Zach Ferris. Not a bad ball by Capaldi, though.
No, pretty good ball probably by Jack Capaldi. Definitely catchable. It didn't look like Ferris made the pass break up there. Like you said, maybe just hit Cole Thornton in a weird spot. Uncharacteristic drive for him. A couple drops right there.
Thornton will take a seat. The 2nd down and 10 snap. Capaldi looks right, throws right. There's Noden Tracy at the 40-yard line. Tracy refuses to go down. And eventually does, but not before gain 6.
Good grab there by Noden Tracy. He's one of these sophomore receivers that Joe Conlin hopes to be the next generation of his good receivers here at Fordham. He highlighted KJ Reed as one of those next generational receivers. His friends Ricky Gonzalez and Noden Tracy are right there with him.
Tracy's first reception of the season. Had his season last year cut short by an injury. Played in only 3 games, had a reception for negative yardage. The second reception of his career. Capaldi looks left, throws left. KJ Reed over the middle. Has the distance for the first down at the 46.
KJ Reed really been the sure hands for the Rams over these last 2 games. A lot of drops. He had one today, but has done a really good job of looking the ball all the way in. He's had a lot of catches where he takes a hit immediately after catching the ball, able to always bring it in seemingly.
6th reception for Reed, and it picks up the first down. 7:40 to go in the fourth. Capaldi play action. Looks left, throws left. The diving attempt from Ricky Gonzalez. Incomplete, tight coverage by Patrick Campbell.
Yeah, good coverage there from Campbell. Really nowhere to put that ball. draped all over him throughout the entirety of the route. It's going to be 2nd and 10 here for the Rams.
Capaldi, 18 of 35, just a hair over 50% when it comes to completions. 145 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions after 2 last week. 2nd and 10 from their own 47. 3-receiver tight end look. Play action. Capaldi looks middle, throws middle. Mekhi Felton has the first. He's in Dartmouth territory, but his leg gave out from under him, and that didn't look good. He's clutching his left knee in Dartmouth territory, and not to get ahead of ourselves, but that looks like one of those scary knee injuries where your knee just flies up into you and you can't do anything.
Yeah, that's really upsetting to see if you're a fan of the Fordham football team. Mekhi Felton, a guy who's been one of their leading receivers for a few seasons now, one of their toughest players, has been dealing with a slight injury bug typically throughout that entire timeline. Here he goes to make what would have been a really good move, stumbles, takes an awkward fall, and he's now luckily under his own power walking off the field.
Evan, I know we've been talking about getting positive looks and positive progress in a game where Julius Luffridge and Garrett Cody, let's try that again, Julius Luffridge and Garrett Cody not dressing, CJ Montes sidelined last week, and you're trailing 38-7. Do you question having Mekhi Felton out here, knowing he's already been nursing a hamstring injury?
Right, it definitely becomes a question, especially after that play happens. The worst thing you want to do is make that injury become something even bigger than it is right now in a game that pretty much doesn't matter at this point.
Felton leads the team with 53 receiving yards on just 3 grabs, but he'll head to the sideline. I have to presume you won't see him for the rest of the game. 7:10 to go, fresh to the downs in Dartmouth territory. Play action, Capaldi steps up, throws on the run, over the head of KJ Reed and the cornerback Patrick Campbell.
Flag comes in on the play. Looks like it's around the secondary area. Multiple cornerbacks throwing their hands in the air. There should be something on the defense.
Hold it. Defense number 12. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
That's their starting free safety, Jamal Cooper. You look at who Dartmouth has out there right now. It's like backups on the D-line, but a couple starters in the secondary, Jamal Cooper, Patrick Campbell, Zach Ferris in the rotation as well. So some big-name players here on this drive. The penalty gets Fordham to the Dartmouth 27. 1st and 10. Inside give Kaiser. Cuts up the hash to the 20-yard line. Strong gain of 8. And Kaiser takes them on the door of the red zone.
Good hold there from this right side of the offensive line. One that's kind of been struggling today, so good to see them put a good play together.
A brief injury timeout for Zion Freer-Brown. On the ground for a moment, helped back up. He'll trot off to the sideline. Fordham quickly jogs away from their own sideline as they get set up for a 2nd down. Let's say 2nd and 3 snap from the 20. Trailing by 31, 6.5 to go in our final quarter. Play action, Capaldi floats right side, wants Cole Thornton, leaps up, makes the catch, and gets the foot in. Touchdown Fordham. Nice leaping grab by Cole Thornton. And it may not help him win the football game, but a pretty throw and catch, and Cole Thornton's 2nd touchdown of the season.
And that's how you make up for a couple of drops from Cole Thornton. Uncharacteristic plays I mentioned. Well, this is a characteristic play for Cole Thornton. A beautiful job. Pretty much a work of art as a receiver for getting open when the ball's thrown in a spot where pretty much you or the corner can get it. Thornton does a good job of selling with his eyes that the ball was thrown short. He sees the corner looking at his face mask. So then he slows down, making the corner slow down. But the whole time Thornton knows the ball's going to be thrown ahead of where he's faking it to be. Reaches forward at the last second, uses late hands, deceives the corner, catches the touchdown. 6 points for number 6.
Fordham will go for 2 here. 6.5 to play. They trail 38-13 after the Cole Thornton touchdown. Capaldi in the gun. 2 receivers to the right. Gonzalez motions across. Stops in front of Capaldi and goes back. Capaldi rollout, shovels forward for Jaden Allen at the 1-yard line. Extends for the end zone. There's a flag as well. They're saying Allen is short. Curious to see what this flag's going to be.
Flag on the play.
Allen seemed like he reached in. He seemed like he had the entire length of the ball over the end zone. He's signaling to the sideline that he got in right there. We'll see what the refs say.
Offense, 5 in the backfield. That penalty is declined. The try is no good.
You heard the call by the referees. Illegal formation.
38, Fordham 13.
Dartmouth declines. And Fordham unable to convert on the 2-point conversion. Offense is out there for a moment. I wonder if they thought that they might try and challenge it. I think with the penalty either way, well, we'll see what happens. Neither team on the field right now, only the referees.
Could be a review going on here. There hasn't been an announcement.
Fans, your Big Green football team is back in action on Saturday.
And that just leads us into a media timeout.
As they take on the Ben Quaker.
Cole Thornton, a 27-yard touchdown on Evan. One of the best balls we've seen from Capaldi this season, putting it in a spot where Thornton can high point.
Right, letting some air under that ball, like you said, giving Thornton room to work with around that sideline. You don't want to get pushed over by the sideline. He left that ball with enough space for Thornton to go up and make a play on it. Like I said, he did a great job of deceiving the corner, making the corner think the ball was underthrown, slowing him down so he could speed up, which he knew he was going to do the whole time. Use late hands at the very end, drag it in for the touchdown. Like I said, a characteristic play for number 6 right there. He'll be looking to stack up those touchdowns. That's his second on the season so far.
His second on the season. That's the team lead. 6.5 to go here in our final quarter from New Hampshire. Dartmouth up 38-13. It's Fordham football on 90.7 FM WFUV.
Hi, this is Ben Oppenheimer reminding you to tune in to New York's longest running sports call-in show, One on One. Catch One on One live on the WFUV Sports YouTube channel every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then later on 90.7 FM from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. We'll catch you next Saturday on One on One.
Creeping to a close here from Memorial Field in Hanover, New Hampshire. New Orlando, Evan Harkin, Fordham football on WFUV Sports. The Rams get their second touchdown of the game, second of the second half, as Capaldi finds Cole Thornton for a 27-yard touchdown. The Rams seeing some positive progress here in the second half, but still a massive lead for the Big Green, 38-13.
Yeah, you want to see spot positives for the Rams. An example right there of a play that Cole Thornton can look back on. Jack Capaldi can look back on and say, what did we do here? Let's keep working on exactly what we did right in practice. Try to do it again and again. Become a better offense.
Fordham poised as if they're go for an onside kick here. Henderson will approach from the far side as he gets Dartmouth to motion over to the left. Rolling kick to the 50. It's fielded by Corbo at the 48-yard line. Fordham unable to recover on the onside kick.
Second onside kick of the game. Was still very peculiar to see that one Dartmouth onside kick, but both of them not working.
And Corbo, I think, either pulled something or tweaked something, because when he went down, ended up limping off the field after securing that ball. No one really around him to pressure him on that play. Jackson Proctor has his helmet off, as he's had for the entirety of this second half. It's Grayson Saunier back out in pistol. Christian Benson behind him. Two tight ends motion over to the left. All receivers, tight ends on the left side. Turn around, left side, give Benson. Benson tackle from behind by John Scott. No gain.
Really good play by John Scott. He came from the opposite side. DN spot was fast enough to shoot across the behinds of the offensive lineman and make that play almost in the backfield.
Sixth tackle of the game for John Scott. That's a new career high. Coach Conlin has raved about him stepping in for an injured Jack Lowe. They haven't missed a beat. He got his first career sack last week, along with a career high 5 tackles. He's now surpassed that with his 6th tackle, and it's been a nice piece on that edge. Saunier in the gun for 2nd and 10. The give left side, and again no gain. Jaworski flying in. Chris Roper takes the handoff.
Chris Roper with his first collegiate carry for the Big
His
Red.
tackle will actually go for a loss of 1. This is up 3rd and 11.
Third down and 11.
Both defensive ends playing pretty good to start this drive. Back-to-back plays. John Scott, the left defensive end, coming across the formation to make a tackle. Very next play, right side defensive end, Matt Jaworski coming across the formation to make a tackle, making a statement that they can contain these edges right now.
8 tackles for Jaworski, the Patriot League preseason defensive player of the year. Still searching for his first sack. Going to be hard to come by against Dartmouth. They led the nation last year, only 5 sacks allowed. 3rd and 11. Low snap, Saunier handles. The give to O'Garo. O'Garo cuts up past the 45. He's picked up by 4 defenders.
O'Garo gets his
Picks
first
up 1.
carry for the Big
But on
Red.
4th down, they'll still have 10 to go.
Fordham doing a good job of rallying to the football, getting multiple helmets on the ball carrier, able to bring him down, force the punt, get that offense back on the field.
With 4:35 and ticking, offense has time for, at the very least, one more drive. See if you can get a 3rd touchdown, maybe put some things together, and get more rhythm for Capaldi in this offense, because it has been, in large parts, a successful half of the offense.
Right, and this offense has been scoring 13 points a game, so right now they sit at 13. It would be cool to top that number, bring that average up, have yourself a decent offensive day overall.
Golick handles a high snap and boots it away. Fair catch by Hatfield at the 13.
With a fair catch for Fordham.
Well, Jack Capaldi, 20 for 39, 51% completion, 1 touchdown, a 98.7 QBR. That pales in comparison to Proctor's 189.7 QBR. Things went pretty easy for the Dartmouth offense, especially in that first half. Nonetheless, Capaldi's starting to find some rhythm with his sophomore wide receivers.
And on the offensive line, pretty much all those starters in there except for Colin Van Roy. He's someone that Joe Conlin said they can trust for offensive tackles when they go down. He'll slot in for David Evbomenya late here in the game.
Capaldi has Hatfield, sidecar right, twin wideouts either side. Play action, fires left. And that's the first reception in the career of Jack Freeberg. Freeberg catches at the 18. Called a gain of 5. This is an exciting freshman. The ceiling's the limit for this guy.
Absolutely. Number 82, Freeberg, 6'1", 175 from Arizona. 3rd most receptions in Arizona high school history.
Arizona native. Play action. Capaldi floats near side. Intercepted. It was tipped by Gonzalez, brought in by Campbell. And Dartmouth takes over at the Fordham 40.
What a play by Patrick Campbell right there. The ball's initially almost caught, gets bobbled in the air, but the concentration to stick with it, tip it up to himself before actually catching it. He had 7 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 3 pass breakups, so someone that's very familiar with disrupting the ball gets another interception here today.
I'm not sure if that's one that you put fully on Capaldi. He's throwing it into a tight window, trying to see if Ricky Gonzalez can high point it and make a nice grab. He gets his hands on it, bats it up, and Campbell right there to follow with it.
Pretty much if a receiver has the ball hit him in the hands, it becomes on him. Unlucky for Capaldi getting that interception chalked up to his stat sheet.
3 interceptions for Capaldi through a game and a half. CJ Montes had none in his 3 games. Handoff to Roper, some space for the B-gap, spins off a tackle, gets the first down, and carries Courtney up to the 32.
Good run there from Roper, able to evade tacklers, finds the lane on the outside. Good vision from him.
This Dartmouth offense looking to surpass the 40-point mark. They've got 38 with 3:11 to go. Saunier in the gun. This is O'Garo to his left. 2 receiver, 2 tight end set. Snap, give right. O'Garo cuts up, but met quickly by Osman. Gain of 1.
Good fill there from number 12, Andrew Osman, a young guy that Joe Conlin said, despite being young, is a very smart football player, plays like a veteran, and is a leader on this team. Had a couple standout games already this season, one of the more secure tacklers on this Rams unit.
2nd down and 10. The Fordham defense looking to stop Dartmouth here, maybe keep them at a field goal range as best as they can and give this offense one last-ditch effort. 2nd down and 9, 2-minute timeout creeping up on us. Here's the give right to Jackson, cuts up at the 30. Now he's met by a few Rams defenders, and they're going to drag him all the way back to the 35. Forward progress has him down at the 30, a gain of 2. And there's the 2-minute timeout right on the dot. 2 minutes even left to go here in the 4th quarter.
Good play there by 19 Boogie Owens, someone who also had this career high in tackles last week, 5 tackles. He's a freshman from Texas and was a 2-time state champion in high school, someone familiar with winning.
Don't go anywhere. We'll have you covered for the final 2 minutes of game time, and after that, it's the Rose Hill Studios' Angel Ducret and Kurt Sippel with the one-on-one post-game report. The Rams find themselves a gnarly deficit, trailing 38-13 in the final 2 minutes. It's Fordham football on 90.7 FM.
Hey sports fans, it's Bobby C. I'm the sports director here at WFUV. From live broadcasts of Fordham athletics to coverage of all the professional sports teams in the NYC, we've got everything a sports fan could ask for. Like talking sports? Check out One-on-One, New York's longest-running sports call-in show, as well as our diverse collection of podcasts. If you're a Fordham student interested in joining our program, feel free to shoot me an email, bobbyc@wfuv.org. And as always, thank you to all of our listeners who support us every week. 90.7 FM is the home of WFUV Sports.
Orlando, Evan Harkin, final 2 minutes here from Memorial Field. Fordham trails 38-13. They will fall to 0-4 on the season. And nonetheless, despite the large deficit, they've kept the starters out there defensively. I think to a quote that I got from Mike Courtney this Thursday, he said, "We're never going to stop fighting. Control what we can control." And unfortunately, there have been a few lopsided efforts here for Fordham to start the season. But the one thing they've done is they've kept the starters out there defensively, and you've seen the effort for them. You've seen the fight, even in a situation where you're down big.
Right, that comes from Mike Courtney. Control what you can control is something Joe Conlin preaches to this team pretty much every day, wanting them to focus on the right things, focus on things that can lead to success. Maybe not always the pass, maybe not always what the score is right now, but what you have to do on this very play.
2 minutes left. Saunier keeps on the near side. He's chased by Tristan Wright, unable to make the tackle. Picks up the first inside the 10, inside the end zone. First touchdown of the career of Grayson Saunier. Oh, what a run. 30 yards to the house. And Dartmouth up over 40 points, a 44-13 lead.
Grayson Saunier really hitting a second gear right there. He looked like the fastest player on the field. Really looked like the fastest quarterback Fordham's played all season long, showing this Dartmouth coaching staff, like I said, late in the game when you really just have to go out there and perform for future games. That's exactly what you want to see if you're a big Green fan, a third-string quarterback scoring a touchdown in this one.
Dartmouth has put up 40-plus points for the first time since November 20th, 2021. They put up 52 against Brown in their season finale, and they start the season opener of 2024 with a bang. Extra point from Zalk is good. He stays perfect. It's a 45-13 lead for Dartmouth College. And that is a 32-point lead. My goodness. The final nail in the coffin. Grayson Saunier playing in his first collegiate game. He shows off the legs. Maybe that's the next Nick Howard for them, the next rushing quarterback. He showed some pretty cool speed there.
I mean, you never know. Tons of times late in games, a random quarterback will come in, show out, and then you'll see him in a few weeks actually playing because it opens up eyes for coaches. That doesn't just go for the quarterback position. That can go for anybody on the field once we get into these games that are pretty much decided in the fourth quarter, and different names are getting put in different spots.
This is going to go down, so far at least, as Fordham's biggest loss of the season. 45-13 is the deficit. I should say they have one more chance here. Minute 51 left in the game. The offense with 3 timeouts has one more chance to get points on the board. Kick by Weaver, end over end into the end zone. Touchback, and Fordham takes over from the 25.
And Lou, you wonder here if you attempt, like you said, the nail in the coffin's pretty much been hammered in. You have those 3 timeouts, but we saw Mekhi Felton get hurt. You know, this game's pretty much decided as a loss for Fordham in the win-loss column. Do you go here? Do you try to pick up yards, pick up points at the cost of maybe injuring players that could be useful in games that really matter at this point? Interested to see what they'll do. I guess we'll see shortly.
Well, the wide receiver core out there, at least for this opening snap, Jack Benton, the freshman Jack Freeberg. And on the left side, it's Ricky Gonzalez and Jeff Ciccio. Ricky Gonzalez really the only one of the 3 that's in the main wide receiver core. Capaldi in the gun. Inside give Kaiser a burst of speed, has a hole, past the 30, takes a big hit. Down at the 34-yard line, takes up for 9 yards. Takes some punishment at the end there, but running strong up the middle.
Yeah, good rush there from Kaiser. Guy usually delivering the punishment. Gets a big lick on him right there. Good job of keeping the ball in his hands.
2nd and 1, 90 seconds left to go. Play action. Capaldi throws right side. There's Jack Benton at the 45. Spun down right there. Has the distance for the first down. Fordham will move quickly.
Jack Benton, a guy consistently showing what he can do once games come to this point. He scored a touchdown in a similar situation. It was thrown by Capaldi, a 60-yarder against Bowling Green, so showing when he gets put in that he can execute.
Clock was frozen as they move the chains. It resumes down to 1:10. Has time in the pocket, now rolls out right. Capaldi scrambles out left, plenty of time. He'll tuck it and keep it himself. Space in front of him. Past midfield, out of bounds. At the 45-yard line, picks up 10 yards, gets the chains moving. Jack Capaldi showing off the legs.
Right, that's the CJ Montes-esque improvision that we were hoping to be able to see from Jack Capaldi, showing he can do it. He's worked some magic here today. He's a little bit better on his legs than some people give him credit for, and that can help out this offense in the future.
59 seconds left. The Dartmouth 45. Twin wideouts either side. Fordham has all 3 timeouts in the final minute. Play action. Capaldi fakes, scrambles left, facing pressure. Can't evade the sack.
Cameron Lee with
Number 57, Cameron Lee chases him down. Loss of 6 yards. Fordham letting the clock run. 40 seconds and ticking. It appears that they're not in the business of using their timeouts here. Run a couple more plays and let this game end.
Interested to see if they'll keep letting Jack Capaldi take hits.
Second sack of the game for Capaldi. A quick near side throw to the backfield. Mason Hatfield at midfield. Tries to juke up, won't get a ton more. Brought down at the Dartmouth 48. 15 seconds and ticking. Conlin's going to hold on to the timeouts. Fordham maybe time for one more snap. 5 seconds left. Capaldi's in the gun. 4, 3, 2, 1. They won't get the snap off. And there's the final score. Dartmouth, in their 2024 season opener, they come out strong, a 45-13 win. They knock down the Fordham Rams. The Rams fall to 0-4, and despite some flashes of progress in the second half, Evan, more of the same.
More of the same, and we keep saying this every game, Lou. It seems like every new game the Rams play, the buzz around pregame is this is their time. This is their game. They have to go out and win. I think they'll win this one. That seems to be the talk around Fordham every single time, acting like the previous games are always a fluke, but at some point when you're 0-4, it doesn't really become a fluke. There's a lot of things that need to change if this team's going to be successful in completing their goal of winning a Patriot League title, which is still within reach.
Patriot League title is still in reach despite the 0-4 start, and at this point, Evan, nothing matters besides conference play. It's creeping closer and closer every day. Fordham has Monmouth next Saturday. That's their last non-conference opponent until the very end of the season. It's a tough CAA opponent. And then after Monmouth, what do you know? Lafayette comes to your turf, the reigning Patriot League champs, and you're going to find out very quickly whether or not Fordham's going to be able to vie for a Patriot League title.
And so many negative things going on in these first 4 games. Maybe a positive out of those negatives. Maybe that gives you as a team some tunnel vision towards the league play. Maybe you're thinking at this point, all right, we went 0-4. We lost all those games, but they're out of conference. They don't matter. Let's completely take all of that out of our minds. This is basically a new season, and you can have that hunger that you want to reinvent yourself. You know what it's like to be 0-4, to lose a game at this point. You don't want that feeling again. That can really motivate a team. So hopefully there's some good things, some good focal points coming out of this that the Rams can pick up on.
And then let's talk about Jack Capaldi. The first start for the junior quarterback stepping in for the injured CJ Montes. Completes passes at a 53.5% rate, 187 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It was not the best game for the offense. They only put up 13 points. But in the second half, we saw glimpses of a Fordham offense that maybe could have success down the stretch.
Definite glimpses, and that's kind of what you wanted to see from Capaldi. You knew in his first start he wasn't going to be perfect with progressions. He wasn't going to be perfect at these different things that it takes being a veteran quarterback to be good at. You really can't get better at those little things without having experience in game, so he'll build that up. But you wanted to see that he has the talent to succeed, and we definitely saw that, Lou. At one point, a complete drive where he led the team as the leader, was the MVP of the drive, firing balls on the money when he was given enough time. There's a lot of external factors that matter as a quarterback. It seemed whenever those factors were settled and good for Capaldi, he was able to succeed.
A lot went well for Dartmouth. It shows in the final score. Jackson Proctor stepping into the starting quarterback role. He was excellent. 14 of 18, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns and interception. Heck of a day for the senior running back Hugh Jones, pair of touchdowns. And Paxton Scott, 6 receptions, 121 yards. Dartmouth had a field day on their home opener, and it feels like they could be set up to have success in the Ivy League this season.
Dartmouth looked really good out here today. Proctor, probably the best out of all of them, despite me having to shuffle through names because so many players played so well today. Proctor got off the field at about halftime, didn't even have to come back. He was cycling on the bike, and he really earned that spot. I mean, manipulating the defense, doing it all on his own. He had help from the offensive line and his receivers, but it was really the Jackson Proctor show in that first half, which goes to show that this team can be a lot better than 4th, where they were picked in the preseason polls. And this seemed like that new level that Sammy McCorkle said they don't know what it looks like, but they can reach it. Now unlocking this passing attack go along with a good rushing attack from last season, that seems to be the new level that they're at now, Lou.
Fordham falls to Dartmouth. They're back in action next Saturday, September 28th. It's another CAA opponent. They fell to Stony Brook last weekend. Now they've got Monmouth, a 1 p.m. kickoff, right back here on 90.7 FM WFUV and the WFUV Sports YouTube page. Once again, our final score, Dartmouth 45, Fordham 13. The Rams fall to 0-4. On behalf of Evan Harkin, I'm Lou Orlando. Let's send it back to the Rose Hill Studios, Angel Ducret and Kurt Sippel with the one-on-one postgame report.
The one-on-one postgame report.
Welcome back to the Rose Hill Studios for the post-game show. It was a rough one. 45-13 was the final score. We thought the offense was going to come back in the second half. Unfortunately, it was not enough to stop Dartmouth in their path to gain this victory. 5 straight victories they have against Fordham. Last win that Fordham has against Dartmouth, 1951. That was a long time ago. None of us were alive. Before we get into the post-game show and before we get into highlights, we have a special interview with Lou Orlando and Evan Harkin. Talk more about the game. Lou, Evan, how you guys doing so far?
As good as we can. Obviously, that's another tough loss for the Fordham Rams, and one that Dartmouth is a big unknown. You look at an Ivy opponent and you go, all right, maybe Fordham can stack up against them, but it seems like the Ivy League came out to play this week. Columbia takes down Lafayette. Dartmouth essentially dog walks Fordham here today, so there's a lot of strong season opening performances by the Ivy League, and we saw one today.
Yeah, doing all right over here as well, especially in this beautiful press box they have at Dartmouth.
Oh,
Shout out
gorgeous.
Dartmouth.
It's gorgeous
Dartmouth
here
for this beautiful press box. But like Lou said, and that seems to be a theme, Fordham seems to be playing a lot of teams that are probably going to finish better than they were predicted to. I think CCSU, Stony Brook, and now Dartmouth are way better coached than a lot of people gave them credit for preseason. They're all going to finish with better records than they were expected. Nonetheless, Fordham with a very bad game to go along with their poor season to start out.
And let's just talk a little bit about the game now. let's go into the offensive side of things. I want to ask both of you guys, how big of an impact was the absence of Loveridge for the Fordham offense? We kind of talked about it behind the scenes. Where was he at? Where snaps at? I want to get your take about that.
Yeah, Loveridge didn't have pads on or a helmet after halftime. I didn't catch whether he did in the first half, but he never got a touch the whole game. That should pretty much let you know something's going on with him. Not sure what it would be, maybe an injury, sickness of that, but he's crucial to the offense. Ricky Parks is very good. He can fill in for him, but there's a difference when Julius Loveridge has the ball in his hands versus pretty much everyone else in the Patriot League. He seems untackleable by one person, has the vision of an FBS running back here in the FCS, so it's pretty much detrimental to not have Julius Loveridge in a game. Despite that, though, the Rams could have rushed the ball much better than they did today with Ricky Parks.
I think that's the point, right? Because Fordham enters the game, 13 points per game. It's an offense that's been struggling, and that's with the Patriot League's leading rusher. So you take away Loveridge out of that equation. You take away Garrett Cody, the team's leading receiver, and you take away your starting quarterback, CJ Montes. And I'm not sure you go in and you expect to win that game, but nonetheless, I think Fordham would have had a better chance, certainly a much better chance, had they executed at all in the first half. The glimpses that we saw in the second half, a couple of those drives, if they had been able to do that consistently, and I think there's belief within this squad and from this coaching staff that Jack Capaldi can be a guy that facilitates the offense downfield and finds your skill players that are out there, but certainly the odds stacked against them when you have your starting quarterback, your starting running back, your starting receiver out, and your number 2 receiver taking limited snaps. That's not what you want, considering that Fordham was struggling with them on the field.
Well, I just wanted to ask you guys, we saw a lot more balanced defense against the run last week against Stony Brook. Fordham had 70 rushing yards, and Dartmouth had 233, doubling even more than Fordham's rushing yards today. What went wrong for the Fordham rush defense today?
A lot of it was discipline today for the Fordham defense because there were drives. They pretty much overall played well. They were just spurts, random plays, those 50-yard rushing touchdowns, the passing touchdown to Scott. There was just plays where they had lapses in discipline, guys not filling their hole, finding other holes to try and fill, trying to make big plays when really they should just be focusing on staying in their spot, doing their job. If you have 11 guys doing their job, it turns out to be a good defensive day. That really wasn't what it was, and a big thing was definitely the ends, although Jaworski and Scott had some good tackles at the end of the game. They played well overall. On those big runs, it seemed like the offensive tackles were able to not allow them to contain very well, won the outside, gave the running back the edges. It wasn't only on the DNs. The outside linebackers are to blame there as well, but they really had a lot of room to work between the hashes and the numbers on the sideline on the outside.
And one of their linebackers at the beginning of the season, talking about the offense, said, that O-line is an obvious strength, and even with right guard Kyle Brown out to start the season, it's an O-line that is, it's big, it's strong, and it knows how to block for the run. That's Dartmouth's strengths in previous years, so even though they had some success passing the game, their bread and butter is running the football and running the football in creative ways. And that's an O-line that when we talk about the experience there on the O-line, they've been running those plays, they've been running this system for 3-4 years, and so they're very experienced when it comes to clearing out those holes for their runners, and they did so today.
So going from Dartmouth's O-line, let's kind of talk about the little bright spots of Fordham. Fordham's O-line, we've seen improvements from today's contest, only giving up, I believe, 3 sacks. Is there hope for this offense if their performance can continue such like this?
Definite hope for the offense. I think you just look at the names on the offense and even the offensive line, which is the struggling point of it overall, and say there's so many good players here. They just have to figure it out and work together. It's really a chemistry thing. That's pretty much the word for this offense. A lot of very good players just not playing on the same page. And then to specify down to that O-line like you were talking about, Angel, definitely a little bit better today. Coach Conlin was saying it's not a physical thing. It's not a talent thing. It's kind of a mental thing with them, figuring out what they're going to do pre-snap all together, being on the same page. They're really as strong as their weakest link because, like I said, if 3 guys block really well and 2 don't, that's a blown-up play. That's a negative play for the O-line. Everybody points at them. So it has to be all 5 guys playing in unison.
And when we talk about the pass game, I think it starts with the chemistry because you saw in the second half, as Capaldi got into a rhythm, the play calling adjusted, and they started to take deep shots. They started to take risks. And sure, it ended up with an interception that you'd say probably falls on the wide receiver. But I also like to see that a Fordham offense that I thought from a play-calling perspective had been very conservative through 3 weeks, they branched out a little bit. They got more aggressive. in that second half, and you'll see the play calling get more creative if that rhythm is there from the jump, and then maybe you'll see things go a little bit of a different way.
So, Lou and Evan, to end this off, we know Fordham didn't envision a start to this season, an 0-4 start to this season. Everything that can go wrong has gone wrong for the Fordham Rams, from injuries to bad breaks during the games. Where do they go from here?
Well, they go to league play soon. It's not going to come soon enough for them because that's probably what they're focused on at this point. Like we were saying in the broadcast, you know, the winner of the Patriot League is who does the best in league play. Their goal is to win the Patriot League. So pretty much you have a tunnel vision on that. Maybe you even don't want to play some players in games that might not matter too much towards that focal point, that focal goal, if you're really trying to accomplish the Patriot League title. But that's where their mindset has to be right now, still on those league play games, focusing on those opponents in the later weeks.
The season is going to come down to the first two conference games. You have Lafayette October 5th, Holy Cross October 12th. I think most people would tell you those are the top two teams in the Patriot League. Going into the season, Fordham was supposed to be in that mix. They're not playing like it, but the preseason poll had Lafayette 1, Holy Cross 2. So those are the two teams that you knew going in you needed to take down at least one of them. So you will know after 2 weeks of conference play whether or not you even have a fighting chance. And I think going up against Monmouth, you're probably going to be underdogs. I'm not sure that that's a game you're going to win. The CAA is so tough, and they have more recruiting money, they have more talent, they have more size. So that's shaping up to be another loss, but see if you can recreate what you did in the second half and make it more consistently. And I think you can at least feel good about taking momentum into conference play and say, hey, it's the Patriot League. In a certain sense, anything can happen. And if we play our best against Lafayette, going into the season, that was supposed to be enough to be in that game. You still like to think, even with some of the injuries, that it is.
From New Hampshire, I want to say thank you very much to our amazing broadcasters, Lou Orlando and Evan Harkin. Called an amazing game. Thank you very much. It's time to get into the highlights of the second half. Starting off from the third quarter, the Rams attempted to get their first points on the board with a 39-yard field goal chance, but a massive block from the Dartmouth defense led to a big return for a touchdown. Dartmouth picked up another score to start the third quarter and jumped out in front by 31.
Snap, the spot, it's blocked! Picked up by Jordan Washington. No one in front of him. 30, the 20, the 10. Touchdown, Dartmouth! A field goal block return for the score!
Fordham regrouped after another punt from the offense, taking advantage of penalties to set up a 1-yard rushing touchdown by Jack Kaiser for the first Fordham score of the afternoon.
Inside give, Kaiser bursting into the end zone. Touchdown, Fordham!
Dartmouth wasted no time after the turnover on downs as DJ Carter busted through the Rams defense for a 46-yard rushing touchdown to bring the lead back to 31 points in the middle of the fourth quarter.
Snap, Ray turns around, hands off left for Crother, breaks 2 tackles, has a huge hole, past the 30, the 20, defenders chasing him, they knock him out of bounds. Did he cross the goal line? He did!
Following Dartmouth's punt, Jack Capardi seems to find his rhythm as the Rams' 80-yard drive ends with a complete pass to Colt Thornton for a 20-yard touchdown. After a failed 2-point conversion, the Rams cut the lead down to 25.
Play action, Capaldi floats right side, wants Cole Thornton, leaps up, makes the catch, and gets the foot in. Touchdown, Fordham!
Dartmouth ends the Rams' next possession with an interception pass from Jack Capaldi. Dartmouth adds the nail to the coffin with a 30-yard rushing touchdown to bring the final score, Dartmouth 45, Fordham 13. So after the highlights of the second half, somewhat a better performance, I would say, from the halftime show. We talked about a offense that wasn't there. It was punts after punts. And you kind of see the positive from the offense, right? You see the ball kind of moved a lot more, finally get into the end zone a couple times. Kurt, I want to know, what do you see now from just these spurts of offense that they could probably take into the Monmouth game next week?
I think one thing that you can definitely take is that Jack Capaldi is looking more comfortable on the field than we saw last week against Stony Brook, where he got thrown into the game after CJ Montes got injured. I feel like that last drive of the game, where not the last drive of the game, but the last few drives of that quarter, where they were scoring and not coming back, but getting their footing a little bit more for Fordham, made them have a little bit more hope and show that this offense behind Jack Capaldi might be promising.
And we can't promise that CJ Montes will be ready for next week, so they have to go into the Monmouth game with your QB as Jack Capaldi. And after this performance this week, not the best, but you can definitely see he improved in the second half. It was the completions were there. Over half of his attempts were completed, 187 yards total. And I think when we asked Lou and Evan about the O-line, I think that was the big, surprise. I don't want to say surprise, but that was the big note to taking going into next week, that was your improvement in the offensive side. So let's just say you take an improved O-line and a more confident QB. I think there are better ways to come, better things come for Fordham to possibly not go down 0-5 against Monmouth.
Well, like Lou said, Monmouth is a very tough opponent. But if Fordham is able to, one, we have to see where Julius Luffridge is. We don't know where he is right now. We don't know what's going on with him. Evan said that he didn't have pads on in that second half, so we don't know what's happening. But you can have, if he's back, if you have an improved O-line, like you said before, and Jack Capaldi's more comfortable, Fordham might have a chance to be in the game. Maybe even have an upset, because they're not going to be the favorites going into Monmouth, a very good CAA opponent that has just good coaching. And I think that for Fordham, it comes down to what tape do you look at right now to watch and show your team that, listen, it might have been a 45-13 loss today, and we might be 4-0, but where can we improve?
0-4, and 3 out of the 4 games have been blowouts. So it's a lot of things to look for the offense. I mean, we always love an underdog story going into next week for Monmouth. Hopefully Loveridge is okay and that this was just part of the game plan maybe. Hopefully see more of him because he is your lead guy on the offense, things if it's rushing or receiving. But that's going to do it for us on the post-game show. Once again, your final score, Dartmouth 45, Fordham 13, as the Rams drop to 0-4 to start that campaign. They'll look to get things going as they visit the Monmouth Hawks next week. Special thanks to our sports director, Bobby Traffandini. On highlights today, we have Mary Hannah Gallagher and Jacqueline True, our engineer, Daniel Melia, Tucker Austin, our producer, Will Talent, our supervising producer. For Kurt Sippel, I'm Andrew Ducret, and this was a production of WFUV Sports.